Hello, everybody. How's it going tonight? Okay, get that all swished around there. Looks at who we got in here tonight. Tim Windsor. Hey, how's it going, man? Great to see you. Two Hacks Garage. Jeff, it's always good to see you in here. 06 Merc. Definitely. Dancing Alone with Reynolds. Good to see you. Brother Hoop. Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. Definitely. How's it going out there? You found a train of all things? I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet, but after this is over with, I definitely got to go check that out. Oh, unfinished project, my favorite emoji. Up. Oh, Dean Stevenson, how's it going over there in New Zealand? Talking about the dude. I haven't checked yours yet. Did you get yours up about your first drive in that? Don English, the man. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I did get some channel news. I got some channel business all finished up today. It's actually official. BareRose Garage is got its own web page now. Trying that out through Wix. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. I'll be posting that up here real soon. Hey Clint, how's it going? Boy, that little S10 is just looking outstanding. At zero. So I think it's up in the top there, the link for anybody wants to join in. Again, this is open mic night. If you want to jump on in, just talk about things, whatever you want to talk about. Joe, go ahead and hit the link. Come on in. No problem talking about the dude. I look forward to it though. I'll tell you what, that 57 Ford that he's got, go check it out. It's got old school cool just written all over it. I love that flame job on there. Ah, there's my big brother right there.
What's happening?
How's it going, Mike?
Man, I'll tell you what, it's going good. Yeah, I found a train in somebody's backyard today.
Are they missing it?
No. No, but when you see that thing, you'll get it. Yeah, some of these guys have already seen it. Dean and Unfinished Project. Uh-oh. I got puppy dog upset.
Uh-oh.
Sounds like she wants to go out. Oh, hold on. This is my
she
big.
Definitely wants to go.
That's my big bear dog. She said she's going out. Where else? There you go. Good riddance. Goodness, man, they're worse than kids.
Amen to that.
So how are you doing today, Brother Bear?
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah?
Didn't get a whole lot done, but I got some done.
Yeah, well, we went over to Oklahoma and had a celebration of life for one of my cousin's wives, and then we visited with the family, and we went over to my cousin's house, and he wanted to show his retirement project. So there's old Clint.
Hey, Clint.
That's that motor guy, right? Oh no, wait, that was engine.
Clint with a K or Clint with a C?
Howdy, people.
This is the guy that can put the biggest set of tires ever on a little S10 and make it look really cool.
Oh, thank you, BareRose. I'm trying the streaming thing for the first time ever, and I've got echoes all over the place.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was watching that
Yeah.
video, and I'm the same way. You know, everybody's like, "No, it's not a motor, it's an engine," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And I catch myself,
Yeah.
you know.
I
Yeah.
give it a rest. It's Ford Motor Company. It's
Right?
General Motors.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Happens to me all the time. I use all the wrong words.
yeah.
I just point and grunt most of the time.
That's how I got my wife, caveman style.
I don't know how many times in a video I'll call a nut a bolt and a bolt a nut. Ugh.
Right.
Very good.
So what you got coming up, Clint?
Something's going on with my thing here. I'm hearing the same things over and over, and I don't know when you guys are talking.
Do you have one of your browser, the YouTube browser going?
Something's
There's a
goofy going
delay
on.
on it.
Yeah, it took me a while to get that part figured out.
Hey, there's Buck, does it?
Uh-oh.
Hey, good
Here
luck.
comes the riffraff.
There's the archaeologist.
The archaeologist. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
can't even spell that.
I can.
You looked it up.
You know, it's pretty funny. When I was working in Oregon,
Zero.
they all called me Archie, you know, and I was like, Archie as in archaeologist, and they're like, Archie as in Arkansas. So,
Well, years ago they called me Al, alcoholic.
there's Clint.
There you go, Clint. Welcome back.
Okay, I only heard that once.
Okay.
Never streamed before in my life, so I hope I don't screw this all up for you, BareRose.
Oh, no problem. Hey, I'll screw it up for you.
But
Talking
I don't
about
see
the
the
tube.
chat. Oh, here he is.
I was gonna say you only got a 1 out of 4 chance of screwing it up. I mean, you know,
We need some more people in here so the percentage goes down.
there you go. Well, and you can point blame at other people too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the modern day coat of arms. He did it.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Nice. So what, you found a train? I heard something about a train.
Yeah, well, you'll just have to watch my video I put up today.
I will.
And, yeah, it's
I got
pretty cool.
all these no-name 500s. I've subscribed to so many people. I don't see any one of my notifications anymore. I have to go digging for everything.
Yeah.
I hear
Well,
you.
and
When
I-
that bell is up there, it like stops at 9 and it just says plus.
Yeah.
And it just
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got one of them 9+.
Yeah, I have.
made it big time.
I'll spend a few hours here and there, you know. Well, early. I usually wake up really early in the morning, you know, and I'll spend a couple hours going through stuff and just. But it's hard to keep up with it all.
Yeah. It really is.
Anymore, I've limited my comments to that time, early in the morning when I'm first having my cup of coffee, and spell
Right.
checker works real good.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you haven't smashed your thumb yet. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
No kidding. Checking out the comments over here.
So yeah, that's when I go through and I set it on what is it, not respond or no response or something like that, and just filter through them all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I'll just, I mean, every once in a while I'll end up going a day or two. Because I'll get so busy. And then, man, I'll go back and I'm like, are you kidding me? Everybody posted today?
Yeah, I think I have like 157 subscriptions now or something like that. It's up there.
Lightweight. I think I'm up to. I think
I'm
I've got
talking-
like 210 or something like
Oh, okay.
that. Yeah, and I do watch the videos. I just man, it gets harder and harder every time, especially whenever you got some people who have run-on videos that are like 30, 40 minutes. And it's like, all right, well, sorry, dude, but I'm going to have to skip through some of this. I mean, 30,
Yeah.
40 minutes, I just don't have time.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Before all this, yeah, I could watch, a little bit, and then I'd go
right,
come back, watch a little bit, and go. But
exactly.
some of that's getting lost in the mix now.
Yeah. That's one thing I always try to keep all of my videos between 5 and 10 minutes, for the most part, as much as I possibly can. I try to keep them between 5 and 10 minutes because, for me, that's kind of the sweet spot,
Yeah.
It's easier to edit too because it's
Right.
not as much, and not sometimes I got to look through a whole bunch of clips to get that five.
Right. Well,
But
and
I've been trying to do the same 5 to 10 minutes.
yeah.
It seems like I get more hits that way. I don't know if it's just because I got more subs now, or is it because of the length of the video? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes I'll stretch them out to 20. This last one, yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Your last one was 14 minutes and something. Yeah.
Yes, BareRose, thank
Yeah.
you so much for the support. Oh my
Hey,
God,
no problem. No problem. Glad to
Yeah,
see
thanks
you
for
coming
the
up.
mention.
you're
No
doing a wonderful
problem.
job. Oh my God,
I really want to see everybody succeed in all this.
and I feel the same way too. I want to see people succeed. And
Yeah,
and
that's what's great about all this. Is that
Yeah,
these are channels no one would know about otherwise.
right.
I think
Everybody's so helpful.
let's see.
And Clint, you got some awesome stuff going on.
Yeah, let's hope I can maintain, right?
Well,
If you did it once, you can do it again.
Yeah.
I love that one where you drop the piston.
Oh.
I'm not rubbing it in, man. I'm not
I
rubbing it
know.
in.
I was
I just
done
felt
the
so
same
stupid
thing.
is all, You've all been there, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I did it on YouTube. It would have been really easy to edit all that out. Just show the other 7 coming out all nice and smooth and not said a word.
Yeah. Well, but sometimes, but you see, that's what
You
makes
drew the
it.
line.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to own your mistakes, right? That's part of this whole automotive thing.
That's what ended up in my intro, the fire, the fireball, it ended
wasn't
up
on
being in
purpose.
my intro.
Hey, did you see John Matt's post there? Billy Graham used to say, if you can't say what you need to say in 20 minutes, you aren't focused on your topic.
That's me.
Huh, that makes sense.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Will.
Do you have to have a beard to get on here, guys? Well,
It seems
it
that way.
helps.
I just shaved the winter fur off.
Yeah. I don't even bother shaving. Mine just grows in all white trash like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Nice.
perfect.
Yeah, I got that black spot or a brown spot in the center there.
Well, this is the only red I have left in my beard right here and right here. That's the only red I have left in my beard.
Feel ya. That's why I'm growing my hair out. It's the only place that's got any color left to it.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Nice.
Yeah.
I keep telling everybody I'm doing the same thing. I'm growing. It's almost all the way out. See?
Just sliding back.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, well.
I used to have an island right here, but that's all gone now too.
Oh, yeah. My
Well-
hair started going back at about 15 years old, and somehow there's still a little there. I don't even know how.
I don't know. My
I
dad
was the
is.
same way.
Yeah.
My dad's 85 and he still has a full head of hair.
Oh,
So
that's good.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Definitely.
All my dad's side of the family is all bald. And then I thought, then I learned in school it's mostly maternal. I thought,
Right.
oh, cool, I got hope. And then I met my uncles. Ah,
And your hope was dashed. Yeah. I actually used to be bald, but it was by choice. You know, I mean,
Yeah. I
but boy,
shaved it
I'll tell
once.
you, when you get a little thin on top, a convertible is not your friend.
yeah,
Neither are
Well-
bright lights.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, working out in the sun, laying blocks. Mm-mm. Trust me, there's no shade on a foundation. There ain't no shade. Yeah.
I drove from Boise, Idaho to John Day, Oregon. Tiny little town out in the middle of nowhere, Desertville, Oregon. And an MG with no top on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I spent the next month and a half with nothing but a blister on the top of my head. Did that in August at like 110 degrees wet.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hurt. After that, I put the hard top on it and it stayed there.
Yeah, never liked convertibles myself.
Hair loss comes from the mothers. Oh,
Yeah, they look good, but I don't like the wind in a convertible.
I need a false sense of security around me, you know. That's why I don't ride motorcycles either.
I love
Especially with a
motorcycles.
windshield. When you got
Yeah.
a little bit of hair, like, and you get on a bike with a windshield or a convertible car, it all goes right in front of you like this. You can't see nothing.
I get my
Yeah.
beard flies up in front of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I'm riding my bike and I've got a fairing and a windshield and my beard is like this. Man. It's just-
I try to put the chin strap underneath, and it's still.
yeah, mine's like a windscreen right there and sunscreen to keep the sun off my face, you know. And I don't know.
Yeah, Robbie Autry says, "Got to have a top."
Yeah,
Thanks,
I
Mr.
don't
Will.
know. I like convertibles myself. I don't know. One of my favorite convertibles that I had was my old 67 Scout 800.
Mm.
It had the removable
Oh.
hardtop on it. And that's what I brought my oldest son home from the hospital in when he was born. That
Oh,
old
wow.
thing just banging and clanging. It was a rough old dude, but it was a tough four-wheel drive, man.
I remember in the off-road clubs, they eventually put scouts in their own league because they were just eating the crap out of Jeeps.
Oh,
Nothing
yeah.
could stand up to them.
Well, you got to realize they're so heavy, and with that short, wide wheelbase, they're so bottom heavy. You know, I mean, you can't really high center them, you know, side to side or front to back. With the original little Scouts, you know,
Uh-huh.
the 800. I mean, they're just hard to get stuck. I got mine stuck one time, and that was because we were playing a game out at the lake called Who Can Get Closer. And this old lake out here, whenever it floods, it's got a bunch of silty mud out there, and we'd see who could get closest to the water without getting stuck. And so this old Z71 went over there, and when he went through it, the water was filling in his track. So I had to go just past that, and it went. I couldn't open my door. I had to climb out the window, and I lost my boot in the mud. And it took a Jeep and 2 trucks to pull that thing out. It was
Oh, Lord.
ridiculous. It was stuck.
Yeah, it probably
Yeah.
had the suction action going on in time.
Yep.
Well, and then I had to take it to the car wash, and I sprayed it all out. And then I had to take it home and take the wheels off and clean out my brakes and clean out everything. I mean, because you could hear the gravel grinding in there. And I mean, it was bad. It was stuck.
Hey, Don English, you can put a turbo on that 2.2 in that K car.
Yeah.
That'll
Gonna
give
put
you
one of them big Caterpillar turbos on there.
Yeah.
Just put a Caterpillar in it.
Maybe you can see Kim fixes things and put one of them small block Chevy oil pump turbos on there.
Isn't that just about the coolest thing?
Yeah.
That was neat.
That is so cool. I mean, that's thinking so far out of the box. You're thinking in circles. That is just cool.
I'm crafty, but I'm not that crafty.
Yeah, me either.
Rabbit Transit.
Hey, Rabbit.
Hey, what's up, Jay?
So
Jason. Hadn't seen you in a while, Jason. Just watched your video a little bit ago.
He must be
Stuff
chest
as
deep
always.
in that little S10 of his.
Yeah.
So, Clint, what are you putting in for power in that little S10?
I'm going to run that big block Mopar.
The big
It's
block
a
Mopar?
B series Mopar, the low deck. Yeah, I like the four.
As you
Yeah.
well should.
I think so. I think so. It's all mixed up. It's got Ford parts and Chevy parts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
made an adapter, so why
that's
not?
just parts.
That's what I
Well,
had. So
what I could find.
exactly.
Is it going to be difficult to mount it in there?
It shouldn't be too bad. It's they make an adapter kit I already ordered for it that takes care of
Okay.
your connecting the engine and the transmission, and then I'll just make a motor mount. So I got to make motor mounts no matter what engine I put in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
What
see how
kind-
that goes.
What kind of sump you gonna run on it? The oil pan.
I actually have a rear sump pan that came with it
Oh,
that I
okay.
can throw in there. So it's
That
going to be
makes
good
it
for that.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super easy. Plus, I don't think with building my own frame, I'm going to have anything under the engine anyway. So I could run anything, but the rear sump's going to be better for acceleration, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
saw
yeah.
you said you were going to go to the salvage yard and get your some suspension parts.
Yeah.
What all are you grabbing there?
My plan is to use the strut type suspension out of a Mustang, late model Mustang,
Okay. Right on.
because I wanted to have a strut suspension, so it's got that race car look, drag car
Right.
look. Yeah, but I can't afford $1,200 struts from Strange. So,
You mean that isn't just spilling out of your pockets walking into the parts store?
I keep checking.
Well,
Still nothing there. I'm wishing really hard too.
yeah. I know
If
that's the thing. A lot of people think, us guys who are out here playing with these cars are spending, tons and tons of money. And it's like, no, we spend more like tons and tons of time than we do tons and tons of money.
It's generally one or the other, right? You've either got a
Right.
bunch of money and you can pay someone else for the time, or you've got a bunch of time and you can't afford any parts.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I got a lot more time than money, and I do a lot of trading out. I do a lot of swapping. I'll swap work for work. I'll do stuff like that. I love to barter and trade any chance I get.
Absolutely.
And it's
That's
even
the name of the
tougher
game.
when it's cheap.
Yeah, that is the name of the game. I'd love to see all these no-name 500 people start some kind of their own little trading group maybe and start swapping some parts to each other.
Yeah,
So
no
hard to
kidding.
find stuff on Facebook and everywhere else.
Hey, we can start it right now. I got a set of control arms for a first gen Camaro. They got practically new bushings in them, new ball joints.
Nice.
A friend of mine gave them to me because he switched out to the tubes.
Mm.
If you guys want them, you guys just pay the shipping. I'll send them whoever wants them.
Yeah, same goes for me. I've got a box of autometer gauges and vintage tacks I'm not using. I've got a ton of stuff, honestly.
Well,
I got
I don't
a bunch
have
of 9-inch
anything.
ring gears.
I don't have anything that cool, but I've got the old vintage Lubripoints and different condensers and rotors. Oh yeah, I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of them. I bought a whole bunch of stuff from a liquidated business, pennies on the dollar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I've got all that cool old stock stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good idea, Andy.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course,
Yeah,
I'm more the guy that if you can prove to me that you're going to use them, take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give away a lot of parts.
And show me what you're going to do with them.
Right.
Yep. I generally tell people, don't ask me if I have time to work on your car. Tell me you need my help, because then I can't say no.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Don't ask me if I got time.
No, I don't. But
But what do you need?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get in the truck. I'll be right
Yep.
there.
I'll be over.
Yeah. That's usually the way it goes.
Done a blow through carb.
A blow
haven't.
through.
I don't even know what a blow through carb is.
It's like what they had on those factory turbo Trans Ams back in the 80s, early 80s, I think it was.
Yeah. See, I never had anything.
Yeah.
I never owned anything like that.
Yeah.
The only
Turbo
Pontiac
basically blows through the carburetor instead of the carburetor being on the other side of the turbo. So your carburetor gets pressurized instead of vacuum.
Andy,
only-
right there at Unity Motorsports, he could probably tell you all about it.
Yeah, he probably knows all about it.
Yeah, the only Pontiac I ever owned was a 1981 Grand Prix with the 231 V6, and it was a snappy little car, man. It would flat set you back for a little V6.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by it.
Yeah, I had a V681 Camaro once. I think it had a 2.8 in it, and it was surprisingly snappy for what it was.
Yeah, for what it was. Yeah, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, boy, if I could take this sucker out and put it in like a little Vega or something.
Yeah. A lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's funny. At Zero, I actually had a scholarship to Utah State for art.
Nice.
Nice.
Everybody kept telling me, you got to use your art. You got to use your art. So I started building rat rods.
Awesome. Well, you did. There you go.
Yeah.
The art of the rod.
Hey, guys, I got to step out for a minute. Wife
no
stuff.
problem.
I'll be back in a little while.
No problem at all. Hey, thanks for
See you
coming
guys
in.
shortly. Thanks for having me. We'll see you guys in a few.
It's great seeing you, man.
Bye. Take care.
Boy, that stuff he's doing with that S10 is just blowing my mind. That is just
Blue Streak Labor Points. That's awesome. Yes. I was just looking at this Doug Narden there. That's kind of what I did there too. And the same ones I've got, those Blue Streak Labor Points. Those things are freaking awesome, man. And it's like, when you get things for pennies on the dollar, for like 10 cents a pop, because you bought whole boxes full of stuff. I bought cases not even knowing what was in there. And I just, it's like $8 a case. Okay. Sold.
I was working in a parts store when they were selling them Blue Streak points.
Yeah.
Back in and that was early 80s.
Yeah, when it comes to those blow-throughs and everything like that, I'm a carburetor guy, but that's when I start looking at the throttle bodies. I don't know enough.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, what's his name just said it was their blow-through carb is totally sealed, so no air escapes.
Hmm.
So you would have to get it to just blow through there. But we're like Clint was saying, the regular carburetor has vacuum. The vacuum sucks the fuel out. So a blow through is going to have to force it out, I would imagine. I
We
never
used
messed
to
with
find
anything.
them on like Buicks, the turbocharged Buick Regals. I would say Grand Nationals, but you can't find them. And the people
Right.
that do have them, they ain't going to give you the carburetor.
No. And I was surprised that 78 Buick I have that they had the turbos back then. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mine's off of a 79.
Hmm.
That's the one we're going to take that neighbor's canoe, and we're going to flip the canoe over, cut it, and turn it into a speedster,
Oh, really?
Nice.
and then stick that Buick turbocharged Buick V6 in there.
Nice.
Gonna try to go for that, early Indies, little speedster kind of look. If I can ever get around to it.
Yeah.
I got projects everywhere.
Well, I was going to say, while you're not doing anything else, you might as well.
What's another iron in the fire,
Oh, yeah, I know all about those. Man, I haven't been out working on the dang Coronet for a minute because I keep getting all this other stuff. And it's kind of like what Clint was saying, it's like Brother Monty says, "Hey, brother, will you help me put this winch in?" Yes. He didn't ask me if I had time. He said, "Will you help me put this winch in?" Yes.
That one went in a lot easier, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, the second time was way easier. We had the first one was a practice run. So, yeah. Yeah, and they're really simple to put in. And now they've got all these color-coded, connectors on the solenoids and all that. It's just plug and play. Really, it's so simple. So, anybody needs a floor winch put in your cargo trailer, call Monty Muehlbach.
Cousin Cletus.
Hey, Cousin Cletus.
And I didn't know what unfinished project meant by bigger drill bit. Is that for the carburetor? I don't know.
I always get nervous when people start drilling carbs. It's so easy to mess up.
I remember polishing the jets for the alcohol injection on the monster trucks. Used to get the jet out and just walk around with a toothpick and just polishing away. Put them back in.
What do you like, a highboy deuce or chopped and channeled? Depends on it. I like both of them.
There you go. Smacky drilled his carb yesterday.
Fighting fire tomorrow. Got to wake up early. Well, thank you for fighting the fire, Wrench.
Back when I was working with my dad in the shop, we used to get a lot of, especially on the just before gas went below $1. Oh God, it's hard to talk about this stuff now. Back in the 80s, when everybody was really fighting for gas mileage, we used to get a lot of home-built carburetors that people just tinked and tinkered with, that they were so far out of whack, you just had to start clear over. That was back when we were pulling those automatic hubs out of Chevy pickups like no tomorrow. We'd do like 3 or 4 of them a day because everybody thought they'd get better mileage with manual lockouts.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think those ones, the drive shaft still turned anyway.
Yeah, it didn't really do anything.
It didn't do much. I don't think it did much.
Yeah. The cost of changing it as to what you saved in gas,
Yeah.
no, you're never able to drive that cost back out of it. And we would tell them that up front. It's like, well, it's going to cost you this much for the parts and the labor. It's going to, you figure that in, you're going to have to drive that truck quite a while just to pay for that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people don't take into consideration, they think, well, I'm going to save here, but they don't realize the cost over here.
Yeah.
One thing I always had to really drill into my kids about, like my big truck that I have, my diesel. My son, he's just so enamored by that truck. And I told him, I said, well, you have to realize, son, having the money to purchase something versus affording to own something are two very different things. Because, just an oil change on that truck, $135.
Oh yeah.
You know, when I go get tires, we're $1,500. I get a brake job done on all 4 brakes. It's $1,000. You know, and he's like, really, really, really? Well, how often do you get your oil changed? Every 5,000 miles. What? And I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, if you want it to last, you got to keep up with your maintenance. And then every 75,000 miles, I change out my transmission fluid and filter. And, you know, I mean, I do a lot of upkeep on my vehicles to keep them top notch and running well. I mean, they may not be nice cosmetically, but mechanically they're sound,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
and you got to be able to do that consistently, you know, and it'll serve you well in the long run. But he was just like, I can't believe it costs that much to take care of that stupid thing. Oh, there he
Hey,
is.
Jeff.
Jeff,
What's
There
happening?
you are.
There's the boss.
It's been a busy day, busy couple days.
Yeah.
there's your sign.
There's your
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
cool.
yeah. It's been busy. Like a lot of work
Yeah.
on Thunderbird. We're trying to do about 5 days worth of work and a weekend and getting there.
Well, let me just tell you, the dark stuff around your face doesn't tell the story. Okay, so
Yeah,
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Jeff, that's what got you in the door.
yeah, exactly. No, Kyle's on vacation, so I've been a friend of mine I've done a lot of car stuff with over the years. Hell of a welder and fabricator, and there's some frame stuff that we needed to take care of. So while we're doing that, we're just doing a bunch of other stuff. And I know I talked to you, BareRose, and Dr. Art about those factory Ford gear boxes for the steering.
Uh-huh.
I went ahead and replaced it. So everything's replaced now. So just a long day.
How'd the frame come out?
Not done yet.
Not done.
We ran out of argon, so it was stopped there. But we did a lot of other work. So
So it's all just pretty minor stuff.
one spot's not very minor. I mean, to me it's major, but for him it's nothing. So
That's
I
a
don't
good thing.
yeah.
that's the way it always. That's the way it always seems to be. You know, something that one person looks at as, you know, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Another guy's like, well, yeah, we'll have that fixed in like 15 minutes. Don't even sweat it, man. We got that.
Yes. Yep. So it's been a busy day and night.
Yeah.
But this is like week 50 of no sleep. Or whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, did you have that engine sitting down in there yet?
No, so the engine run stand will be done tomorrow. I was at Jimmy's yesterday, and I went and picked up last couple things for it, and we're gonna put the engine on it tomorrow, and he'll start wiring shit up, and probably next weekend we're gonna fire it up, break it in, and then hopefully get it in here pretty soon. So
That run stand is
make him
cool.
like that he just like thought of it and just had all this stuff laying around and gave me a
That
parts
sounds
list of stuff to
freaking
go
cool.
buy. Yeah, he's like, here, you go buy
Yeah.
this. And I'm like, all right. But yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. $1,200 for a 33. I don't know. That sounds like a deal to me. Especially these years ago. You know,
Yeah.
this day and age.
Well, people got to sell their stuff to get gas money.
Oh. So yesterday, 509 yesterday, today was 525.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're very fortunate here. You know, we're just across the line from Arkansas, and Arkansas is one of the least expensive states one of the 3 least expensive states in the whole country for fuel. And we're at it was only at 427 tonight whenever I filled up the wife's Subaru. But I mean, still, it still costs us like almost $60, you know. And I'm just like, it's a Subaru. Are you
Yep.
freaking kidding? You
Thanks,
know?
Mr. Will, by the way. Well,
Yeah.
here's the problem with that, Mike. Like I drive from my house to Jimmy's, that's like 35 miles. And then from Jimmy's to Micah's is another 50-ish or more.
Yeah.
And then from his house to mine's like 20 some.
Yeah.
And I'm lately I'm doing that daily,
Right.
just and it's like holy
Well,
shit.
that's why I parked my big F-350, my 6.7 diesel,
Yeah.
and I started driving the Danger Ranger again because I'll tell you what, it's a 95 Ford Ranger. It's got the little 4-speed with the 4-cylinder with the 5-speed. And man, that's a great little truck, and it gets 28 miles to the gallon.
You'll appreciate this, Big Mike. My friend Mike, he actually owns a masonry company, what you did, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a nice big Ford truck, but his other truck was a Chevy half-ton, just horrible in gas mileage. It's on its last leg. He bought a Ranger, for his business. He's like, what do I need to haul? He's like, I got a mixer it can haul. And he's like, anything heavy, I drop off at the site. And
exactly. You take your big truck to deliver all the big stuff. You drop it off. You go home. And then the rest of the week, just driving back and forth with your hand tools. Really, you don't need a diesel for hand tools.
Yep.
So, yeah, I know I've saved an awful lot just by doing that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've been running my Chrysler because my Jeep only gets 16 miles a gallon. My Ford truck gets 14. My Chrysler I can get 26 running around town.
Yeah.
Nice.
I busted out my old shop van. It's an old Chrysler Town and Country. My
There
wife
you
bought
go.
brand new in 2010, and when she got a new vehicle, I said, I'm keeping this thing. Always use it as like a shop vehicle, because you can put so much shit in it. And it gets like 25, 26 miles a gallon. I'm like, I'm just going to.
Yeah.
It's a parts hauler. It's got 230 quadrillion miles on it. So it's like, why not?
Right. Yeah. The Danger Ranger's got 235 quadrillion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those caravans
Still goes.
drive.
They drive smooth mechanically. It's sound. I just did a brake job on it, and as long as you change the oil and drive it.
Take reasonable care of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't even got to baby it or nothing. Just take reasonable care of it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Friend's like, what the hell are you driving? I'm like, I don't want a car payment. I want to build
No
cars
doubt.
for fun,
Yeah. I mean, the things that I'm seeing lately, on some of the people that I follow, on YouTube and other sources, talking about what's coming. I mean, they're talking about, a national average of over $5 before the end of the month, on gas, they're talking like by the time No Name Nationals comes around, we could be looking at like $6.50, $7 a gallon.
And when we have I'm not going to get overly political at this, but when we have an administration that says, well, we have to do this. Well, that just tells the whole country he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, he said we're going through a transition right now, and hopefully, on the other side of it, we'll come out less dependent on fossil fuels. Well, I mean, that just kind of tells you how that's going. So, I mean, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is right now we have to contend with it, and when you have to pay that kind of money for fuel, it takes away money for food, money for other things that people have as necessities, Well,
the necessities, but the non-necessities, people traveling for vacation, the expendable money that you might buy doing whatever hobby, a weekend trip. Like I was telling a friend of mine, I said, man, there's this really cool hot rod drag racing themed restaurant bar in Springfield. And, but I'm like, I don't want to go because it's going to cost me an arm and leg just to drive there. And I'm driving as, doing what I'm doing with the car stuff. And, but that compounds with everybody. We're all taking money out of our budgets daily, whatever. And That just has a
Well, and
really
it takes
bad
away from,
effect.
and when you take away from people's entertainment too, people are like, well, I can't afford to go do this. I can't afford to go to the restaurant. Okay, well, what
Yeah.
about those people who work at the restaurant? And then now, if the restaurant ain't getting business, can they afford to keep those people on? And then these people, it's a vicious cycle.
It is.
And
It
there's
is.
a trickle down that's scaring me on that. I just went and got diesel for my tractors, and I was
Mhm.
sitting there filling it up. And one of the farmers that I do service work for here was there doing the same thing, filling up a diesel can. And I said, well, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, I need a little more in the tractor." I said, "Well, where's your red diesel?" They can't afford to fill their red diesel
Yeah.
because all the restaurants closed last year, and it tanked the potato market. So now they don't, after paying for seed crop, they don't, can't afford red diesel now to continue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Oh
it's
yeah.
going to get scary for
Well,
Yeah.
that part of it.
I was watching a thing that uh, there was a top economist that was talking about, the entire world. I mean, we ain't just talking about the United States. Yeah, we've got it going here too, but the entire world only has a 10-week supply of wheat
Yeah.
for the whole world. That puts us into August.
I know yeah. That's the,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
if you think about it, like I live in farm country. It's
Right.
corn and soybeans,
Yeah.
and you know, there's so many farms that every so often they don't get paid to farm, or they get paid not to farm
Right. They get
because it.
subsidized.
And
Yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, we should just be farming the shit out of it because there's world
Mhm.
hunger. I know that drops prices, but right now with
Mhm.
inflation, but you can't. Then it's the fuel price, and like I was,
Yeah.
the one thing that's going to be broken on that car, Mike, is the radio, because I'm about ready to rip it out and throw it out the window. I was driving this morning to Micah's, and Illinois overall is the highest tax state when you add up all the taxes. And they're
Mhm.
like talking about raising fuel tax to help fund roads because of the expense of fuel for state. And I'm going, so you're just gonna really? You're not gonna need those roads fixed when nobody's freaking driving on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of the plan. I mean, that really is kind of the plan.
Yeah,
But,
At,
I,
at least subsidize red diesel.
yeah.
That, if we can't afford to plant it and harvest it,
Oh,
we're
man.
going to get in trouble.
Yeah. All I can say is, you know what? We're digging our heels in. I mean, I show some of what we got going on and all to everything because, anyway, but you see, we got
Yeah.
our pond going on. We've got our dedicated fishing pond that we're building and all that. We're doing that because we are going to be 100% self-sufficient.
Yeah.
The way I grew up out in the country, we were dirt poor. We didn't have any running water. We had an outhouse. I know how to live poor.
Well, Mike, where I used to live, I was a lot more self-sufficient. I did a lot of gardening. I had chickens and all that. But
Mhm.
like where I live now, I live in an area, they call it country oaks. It's just full of trees, and there's like no sun for really doing a good garden.
Right.
And I got way too many critters out here for chickens.
Yeah. See,
And
that's the cool thing. We've got 10 laying hens, and now we've got 7 new pullets. So
yeah,
as the laying hens start backing off, we'll have our new pullets starting, and our dogs are super protective over
yeah,
our flock, and we don't have to worry about anything getting our chickens. And we also, we grow our own garden. We do, all of that. And I'm we've only been here at this place for 3 years, so I've been working my butt off to get this place set up the way I want it.
yep,
And yeah, I'm working on getting my root cellar put in and all that stuff,
yeah.
And yeah, it's going to
After
be.
seeing that pond, I'm about ready to fire Justin up and go dig a hole myself.
Well, I think you ought to. Well, I don't know. I think it might take Justin a day or 3 to get that pond. It's going to be between 1/2 and 3/4 of an acre.
Nice.
Yeah.
How deep
And-
do you have to go to get below frost there?
Oh, well, we don't have to worry about that so much. I mean, we're 14 feet deep in the bottom of that thing. It's in a gully.
Yeah.
So we're building the dam up. You know, he cut down to the red dirt and packing the red dirt and built the dam up. And now we'll put a spillway to one side. And hey, here's Travis.
Hey, Mike, whereabouts in Missouri are you?
I'm in southwest Missouri. I am
Okay.
right north of Pea Ridge, Arkansas, Pea Ridge Battlefield, and all that stuff.
Because I used to have relatives on a farm. I mean, way out in the middle of nowhere in like Bourbon, Missouri, which is like an hour and a half past St. Louis.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's quite a ways from me. But yeah, we we're building this fishing pond, and the way we're doing it is on the shallow end. I've got my big GMC 4000 dump truck, and I'll be bringing about 10 to 15 loads of creek gravel and
Nice.
putting it on the shallow side for spawning beds. I'm bringing big limestone boulders and dumping them in for fish habitat. I'm building a fishing pier, and I'm making it a dedicated fishing pond so that I will be able to get fish.
See, that'll be slick, man.
Yeah.
That's funny, Wendy, because I did.
Uh-oh.
That's not
Found
really
a truck like I
awesome.
did?
I moved a tree, and sure enough, I found one.
Nice.
It's coming up on a video. It's easy
Nice.
to identify though, because those trucks are, yeah, they're pretty easy to spot.
Right.
So, BareRose, you're saying you
Yes.
moved some brush in a tree and you found a truck?
Yeah, that's how us mountain hillbillies
I did-
do
I
it, you
did-
know.
I just found car parts in the grass when I cut it.
Yeah, my lawnmower finds them. It usually sends it to the neighbor via airmail, you know.
Yeah, I was
Here's
gonna
a
say,
distributor. Boom.
mine's usually hitting the side of my house whenever I find it that way.
Hey, Max Wedge, I just sent you an email because I couldn't find the one you sent me.
So,
When they
Jason,
built the canals here, they used a lot of old cars and stuff for backfill for, you know, when they was building the canal banks. So I think that's where this one came from. It's kind of half buried into the canal.
Jason found dog poop.
Nice.
Gotta love the dog shit in the yard.
Yeah. That's one thing I like about having such a big space. Our dogs, they go run off out in the pasture and go take care of their business. You know, I yell at them when they get squatting in the yard. I'm like, no, take that somewhere else, man.
Yeah.
My dog's the same way. She won't go if the grass is mowed. But,
Really?
you know, she'll jump over into the horse pasture, you know, where it's all growed up. Yep. Go do
he's
your
just
business out
bashful.
there.
He's just bashful. That's all right.
We've got a neighbor down the road. They've got a huge mastiff. And I don't know what this dog's issue is, but
It's a
he will go
mastiff.
right out in the middle of the dirt road and he will drop a dump right in the middle of the road, right there, all the time. And it's like, dude, really?
Saying this is mine.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. It's like you got to put it right in the middle of the road, man.
Gotta take a dump right there.
Yeah, it's like, so you
Did
got
I
to
get in
either.
on the weird hour or something? On my
I
dog shit?
guess so, man. Well, Big Mike's on here, so it's the weird hour. Sorry about
Okay.
your luck.
Okay, Max.
Hey, Mike, did you see that truck I posted on my community page I was telling you about last time we was on live?
Yeah, I did. That's cool, man. That's super cool. Yeah.
What year is it? 50.
I'm not sure what year that truck is.
It was cool. I know that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It looked like the
Yeah.
GMC. It's got the wide rollover grill on it, right?
Yeah, it's a GMC cab over.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of really cool vehicles today because I was out, away from home, and I found some cool stuff. Maybe you guys can identify these hoods. Let me see here if I can get a picture.
While we're waiting, what'd you come up with on the bumper there, Jeff?
The back one,
Yeah.
I'm gonna polish it out, but I'm adding
Polish
some
it.
creativity to some stuff. I'll send you some pictures on.
Oh, cool.
So
Oh,
I
it
got
should
some
be
really cool shit.
interesting.
It's nothing crazy, but like I got part of it done today, and I'm like, actually, that looks really Mad Max-ish, and it gives it just like I'm gonna run your ass over if you can, type look.
Well, that stinks. I won't be able to see it on the track.
Well, yeah, Travis. My God, I knew that was coming, but I didn't think.
Oh, I'm gonna take
So,
two shots as quick as I can.
Actually, I'm trying to find someone to make a decal for me because I'm going to be racing somebody. They haven't called me. I bet they're going to. They have a Roadrunner, and I'm trying to find one where part of my creativity I want is remember the old beep beep your ass, and it was the Roadrunner and
Uh-huh.
the Coyotes holding
Yeah.
it. I want something somewhat similar to that. I'm going to have a decal made, and you'll see where I'm going to put it because they're only going to see it because they're going to see my bumper.
Well, see, I was thinking about getting a sticker made that says, "If you can read this, you're losing."
Yeah.
So this is one of the hoods that's got the Oldsmobile emblem on it. All right. You see the Oldsmobile emblem? Okay. So let me back off here. And this, you see how it's got those little louvers in the back?
It looks
Is that
like
an
an SF
F85?
hood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that an F85?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not an Oldsmobile guy, but
Yeah,
I've
that
got
kind of looks
one.
like the old Chevy SS hoods.
Now, look at this other one here. Look at the louvers on the back of this one.
Those look like those are the old punch louvers, the aftermarket ones.
And
Yeah.
this has got a hood scoop on it. This is just like about 8 seconds or so, 8 or 10 seconds here. I did a little video here.
That's not a hood scoop. That's a beard.
But you see, there's one of them. There's another. And there's this one that's got hood pins in it and all that too.
Yeah, that's aftermarket. That's added.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful short there, but anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. I saw those
That
there.
is neat.
I had to check them out, But
Yeah, I had a 73 El Camino had that kind of louvers that were punched into it like that.
huh. Yeah.
Somebody
I
had
just
done
thought,
almost the entire hood.
I thought if I asked somebody who knew more about them than I did, maybe somebody would give me some answers because I really don't know.
It's pretty neat.
Looks like Nova hood louvers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like the SS Chevelles from like 66 and
Yeah.
67.
Right on. So maybe Olds Cutlass too.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with them, but I saw them and I was like, that is super cool.
Look up F85.
Okay.
That might be something.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. The Corvairs had that punched louvers in them.
Well,
Yeah.
I know like some of those old Grand Prix, one year of the Grand Prix had the louvers in the trunk lid. I remember that.
Oh, wasn't there also a one of the The boat tail cars too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it had, that's what I'm saying. It was like an old Grand Prix with the boat tail. It had the louvers in the back, in the trunk.
Riviera is what I'm thinking.
Or Riviera. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what it was. I think it was Riviera. Yeah.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with Riviera. I like pretty much
Oh, they're
every
neat.
year of Riviera. They're just so cool cars.
Oh, they're super cool. Yeah. My ex brother-in-law had a boat tail Riviera.
There's that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that boat tail Riviera he just had got it, and we were driving down the road, and a lady's front wheel fell off of her car while we were in traffic. She was coming at us, and this wheel
boy.
was coming straight at us, and he was like, "Oh no!" And that thing just like bounced right over one side of the car and right over the back, and never touched us.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was like a force field around that car or something. It was craziest thing.
Yeah. Tony built that
V8
truck.
swap thing.
Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. Like
That's a little
newer
tricky because
Cadillac.
they're reverse. A Corvair
yeah.
actually runs counterclockwise. So
Well,
the
yeah,
best
but
way
if
to
you,
do that is to flip the transaxle over and run it mid-engine.
yeah, but if you took like a say like a front wheel drive 3800 with the transmission and made it all work in there, it'd work the same way, wouldn't it? I mean, same as it would be on a front wheel drive.
Same direction. I know a lot of guys will take the Buick V6 for the marine application,
Mhm.
and they'll stuff them in there because they're reverse. Or get
But I
a,
was
you know,
saying use
marine
a
can.
motor and transmission.
Yeah,
Because like the newer, what were they? The SS Impalas, they were front wheel drive LS motors.
Yeah.
So if you could use that motor and transmission setup in a Corvair, that'd be kind of neat.
That'd be
just pull the cradle, drop the transaxle out of the Corvair, and then just mount the cradle up inside there, and then lock the steering down.
Right.
Make a rear push, like a
Yeah.
Fiero.
Mm-hmm.
those Fieros that people swap small blocks into were cool as hell.
Yeah.
My next older brother had a Fiero, and it was junk.
They were, but my buddy's uncle had one of the V6 ones, and that thing would scoot. It was a 5-speed. It would scoot.
Yeah.
My brothers would scoot it when it could get it started.
I can't remember which year it was that would start up and pop in reverse and start doing reverse donuts. I can't remember which year it was. It was a certain year of the Fiero. It had some issue between the electronic shifter and the ignition. It would the wires would burn or something. It'd get a short circuit. It'd start the car and then start doing reverse donuts.
I know the mid-70s Thunderbirds had a big problem with that. The hard linkage on the floor, if they had the floor shifter with the automatic, they would do that. The linkage would wear, and as it was sitting there idling, it would pop itself in reverse.
Oh, that sounds.
Oh, so if you got outlet and it's in there idle warming up, it would take off.
Yep.
There's my excuse if Travis beats me.
What's
My
up?
mom actually had one, a 76 Thunderbird, had the 351 Windsor in it with the floor shifter, and sure enough, it did it to her.
Oh,
Went
man.
across
Wow.
the street and hit the house on the other side of the neighbor across the street. And
Oh shit.
totaled their porch. And
Oh man, that's a big car to stop too.
oh yeah, they're big. Those ears got real big on the Thunderbirds.
They did.
Oh yeah,
They got
they were up there with the tuna boats. You know,
They got
the Fury,
massive.
what are it, Fury 3s.
Yeah.
Look at the Cadillacs of those years.
Oh yeah, all that stuff was big. My buddy had
those Fieros
that
were interesting.
New Yorker. Yeah. With the 400 in it, and that thing would float down the highway, but I bet you could put 15 people in the trunk of it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Mike, I think that one hood, that Oldsmobile hood, was from a '68 Cutlass ramrod.
Oh yeah,
Cutlass.
Oh,
nice. Yeah, just like I said, I saw all those laying there, and he had a pile of hubcaps too. He had Pontiac and Oldsmobile and Buick and just a whole bunch of old random hubcaps laying around there.
So Travis, how's Mighty coming?
well, right now I'm trying to get the machinist at work is making me a spacer for the lower pulley because I put the new dampener on there, and the new dampener is about a half an inch thinner than the stock one. So the belt is riding off the bottom pulley. So he's making me a spacer because I just didn't want to put like washers behind it.
Yeah.
So I had him building me a actual spacer, but looks like I'm not going to be back at work for probably 14 days.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys
Round
shutting
two.
down?
No, round 2 of COVID.
What?
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
okay.
Yeah. My daughter brought it home, so we're all getting sick, and
Oh no.
yep, it's not good. So they kicked me out of work, and I'm just waiting for test results. I got to go tomorrow and get tested and send the results off to work and all that stuff. And I'm probably going to be off work for 14 days, which means I can't get that spacer for 14 days. So my Max is just going to sit.
Oh man.
Man, you know what? This whole thing, you know, Travis and I, we've dealt with it a lot. Can't find parts, delays. When you get them, something happens.
Yeah. Well, today
I better
I
whoop
put
your ass in this race to make it worth it.
well, I put the distributor in the truck today. You know, I'm not sick yet, but I'm starting to feel it. And I put the distributor in. I started moving the wires around a little bit because I want to kind of tuck them back and hide them. And after about an hour, I was just like, I'm done. I got to go back in the house and sit down. I was just so wore out.
Your breathing's
So,
okay and everything though, right?
yeah, my breathing's okay right now. I
All right.
just doing stuff just wears me out so quick. You know, so I know I'm coming down with it. I just waiting for it to hit. Last time I was down for 9 days. It sucked.
By the way, BareRose, Travis and I made a deal. Next time one of us decides to do something Ford related, we're just gonna punch each other in the face and say no. Go back to Mopar. Stick with Mopar.
Well, you know what's kind of funny? I kind of I found a Conquest. The guy wants $8,000 for it. It's got a 360 in it and a 5-speed.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
And, you know, they are kind of heavy cars, but it's still a Conquest. I like them. So I put Mighty Mouse up for sale to see if maybe I can sell Mighty Mouse and buy this Conquest. Well, a guy hit me up with he's got a 6.4 and transmission with all the stuff to make it run. And I'm kind of going back and forth about maybe trading Mighty Mouse for that 6.4 and put the 6.4 in the Copperhead with a twin turbo setup. Man, that'd be a sweet truck.
Could you have it done in time to go to the no?
No. Because you got to once you get the motor in there and everything, and the swap kit is about $1,500.
Wow.
You got to get in there, and then you have to get it tuned and everything like that, and get everything straight. So it would be like a winter project, really, because there's so much other stuff, different wiring, and you got to get the hoods, or not the hood, but the gauges to where they'll work with it and everything like that. So
Is that like Dakota Digital gauges you'd have to get, or?
well, a lot of guys are using like the stock truck gauges from, you know, like the newer truck.
Yeah.
They'll put those in there and integrate it. So I'd have to measure out the dash opening on that 78 and see if maybe I could get a car dash to slide in there and make it look right.
Right.
Do they make a
And I don't know
total
if it's me or
standalone
somebody
for
else, but it
that?
sounds like I'm getting backbeat.
Does it sound like chirping?
Well, Ollie makes, yeah.
If it sounds like chirping, that's my little baby chickens in there.
Okay. But you can get a standalone from Holly, but that's another like $3,000.
Oh,
I'd rather use the stock PCM and send it off to Diablo Sport and get it where I can tune it and then have Jay Green tune it for me because he can do all that stuff. I already checked it. He can tune out all the body stuff and everything so the car will run.
on a stock ECU, they can take them quite a ways, but to get the absolute most out of them, you got to go full standalone.
Right. But even with the stock ECU, you can run, they say you can run 5 to 7 with the stock pistons. And then if you get the drop-in pistons, you can run up to almost 15 pounds of boost on those. After that, you do have to go complete standalone and
Yeah.
everything like that because it just won't read it. But even at 12 pounds of boost, you're looking at like 900 horsepower out of that 6.4.
That should get you close to beating me.
Maybe. But what I'm thinking about is if I put a 6.4 in there with the 8-speed and put like a 323 gear in it.
You're going to run like 190 mile an hour on the highway.
Yeah, but I could drive that thing to California and back. Yeah, it'd be a great highway cruising. I wouldn't even necessarily have to do the twin turbo, 500 horsepower. I mean, but that would be a heck of a cruiser and a good showpiece.
I think
kinda
that's
wanting to
where
do
the
something
sport's
turbo.
going to go. It's going to become more mileage driver kind of oriented again because of all this, that's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I built the Aspen. I kept going with it and I kept going with it. And I got it to the point where it wasn't street friendly anymore.
Yeah.
And if I drove it on the street, it was kind of a pain in the butt because you had to watch the temps and stuff like that because it was so far out there. Granted, it'd run almost a 6.0 in the 8th, but it got unfun.
Yeah.
It really wasn't fun anymore. I couldn't really just take the car out and enjoy it.
Well, like when I was starting to do my build, gas wasn't near the price it was. So it's I can go tunnel ram, 2 giant carburetors, low gear, and high compression.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sitting here before I even fired this thing up going, I'm going to order everything to change my carburetors over to E85 and just tune it for E85. Everything for my carburetors to do that is back ordered till like January.
Well, I'd tell you, call Dominic, but he doesn't do E85. He doesn't believe in it.
I don't believe in it either, but when it's 102, 105 octane and it's $1.30 cheaper a gallon.
Yeah, but that's what I'm kind of thinking with that 6.4 because in my Challenger on the highway, when I had my Scat Pack, I could run 70 and get about 23 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Which really isn't that bad for a 500 horsepower car.
Yeah.
No.
That weighs 4,200 pounds. And those trucks weigh around 35, 36. So 25, 26 miles a gallon probably wouldn't be out of the question with a highway gear in it. And still be able to have fun with it.
And those turbo cars, vehicles anyway, I mean, they like that highway gear.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need a set of 430s or 391s.
No.
Buck, I saw your shirt earlier today, and I'm like, I need to get one of those. So I went ahead and ordered one.
Oh, just one more car?
No, Buck's shirt.
Oh, where's Buck's shirt?
Represent.
Oh, NHRA?
NHRA,
Okay.
represent.
Yes, I went ahead and Ordered one up.
No, I registered.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Got the shirt for free. Might as well support.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was checking out his
I should
eBay
probably do
store
the same
too.
thing.
He's got a bunch of stuff on eBay.
That's where I bought it from.
What is the
Yeah.
membership for NHRA?
50 without the shirt. What was it with?
It was only 60 somewhere. Wasn't it 67
60,
bucks or something?
yeah.
I forget.
Is that a year or is that a lifetime deal?
That's for a year.
Okay. So I know they have, because I'm an NHRA or not NHRA.
I say that
NRA
all the time too.
lifetime. Yeah, NRA lifetime, and it was like $1,500 one time deal. I like that lifetime deal because then you ain't got to worry about it every month or every year. You're done.
I'm bad at remembering stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The only one I can remember is my Harbor Freight one. Because they remind me every time.
Hey,
Yeah.
is your Harbor Freight having problems keeping stuff in stock?
Our local one here is getting ready to close. So,
Really?
Whoa.
well, they're buying a bigger building.
Okay.
They're moving.
So they're
and everything.
moving.
Yeah. So they're
Okay.
like running bare bones.
I was gonna say because the Harbor Freight I go to, you can't hardly get in there half the time. No matter what day of the week and time it is, place is always busy. They're making a killing.
Ours, you can't get shit, man. It's like nothing's in stock. Because I've been actually decently impressed with some of the Icon stuff, right? And man, anything is just, it's hit or miss, man.
Well, you know,
Do you guys have a
bought-
farm and ranch right next to you there?
We've got a farm and fleet.
Check and see if they've got Tekken in there.
They don't.
They don't? Oh,
No.
man. Because if you can find that, that's almost the same price as Icon.
Yeah.
And 90% of their stuff is all still American made.
Nice.
Lifetime guaranteed. You warranty it out right there in the store.
Cool.
They got a funny sounding name, but they've always been made in Wisconsin, I think.
Guys, I hate to, but I'm gonna have to drop out of here. I'll check in on the comments here in a bit, but
No problem.
I gotta get some things ready for tomorrow. My kid is getting ready to go on an awesome trip. He's doing a school a field trip going to Washington D.C. with his school, and so we got to get him all squared away and get all his stuff ready to rock and roll.
Hey, Mike, real quick before you jump off here, let me ask you something. In August, I'm going up to Marceline, Missouri, which is kind of mid-north Missouri.
Okay.
I might get in touch with you and swing on by and take a look at your collection down there.
Well, by golly,
On my way back here.
come on with it, man. You got my email. Shoot me an email, and we'll exchange phone numbers and whatnot.
All right, that'll work. Yeah, because
All right.
my dad's having his 100th class reunion up there this year. So
Nice. Yeah, heck yeah, man. Anytime, man. We'll get together and show you around the farm.
all right, that'll work. I'll shoot you an email in a couple days or so.
Okay. All right, guys. Everybody, have a
See
good
you,
night.
Big Mike.
I'll
Take
be
care, brother.
around in the comments. So don't talk bad about me.
Hey,
Yeah, we only got 3 seconds.
we're all watching you. We're all
Right on.
watching you.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Later, Mike.
Hey, Jeff, did you see that comment Terry Grover wrote there?
No, I can't see my comments because I'm on my
Okay,
phone.
he says E85, you will lose about 3 miles a gallon.
Well, consider I'm only going to get 3, then it's just going to sit there and idle and suck gas in a negative. I like Terry's stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched a lot of it when I was doing some head stuff on my car.
Well,
Yeah,
we all
that's the
get
only bad
gas
thing.
mileage if they took the E85 out of the regular gas.
Yeah.
Because I had a Honda minivan whenever they switched it, and I went from like 27 miles a gallon down to 23 miles a gallon. Whenever they put the E85 in the gas.
Yeah, I mean, it takes more oxygen to burn that
Yeah.
ethanol. Sorry, I'm sanding and
Yeah,
working on
if
some
you
shit.
have
I
to,
can't
you're-
sit still.
that's the way Tekken used to be when they were order only. But now I'm starting to see them show up in. We have a store here called Cal Ranch. It's just a farm and ranch store, like Tractor Supply and all that. They got a big selection of it now. I buy a lot of my heavy stuff from them, like
We've got a Tractor Supply.
2-inch crow feet and stuff like that. Got a whole set of crow's feet, the big ones for doing like hydraulic lines and stuff like that. On big
That's something
equipment.
I need to get me. I've used them at work, and they work great when you need them.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't have a set. I need to get a set.
But I bought that whole set for like $105.
That's not
Everybody else
bad.
was like enormous.
Oh yeah.
Snap-on was almost $200 for one.
Snap-on is so crazy.
I have
Don't even get
very
me started
few.
on the vampire trucks.
Well, I have very few Snap-on things, and they're good tools.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great.
And when I got the tools, how I got them was, I get the grab boxes from the pawn shop.
Uh-huh.
It's a locked toolbox, and they want $100 for it or whatever. You buy the whole toolbox and everything, and you don't know what's in it. And when you buy it, they give you the key for the lock.
Right.
So I hadn't been by that pawn shop in a while. I need to go by there and see if they got any of those. I could replace some tools.
Now they
Well,
want to see proof of purchase. The Snap-on stuff we bought was back in the 80s. Do you think we still got proof of purchase of that stuff?
Yeah. Well, when the
Oh.
Sears was open, like when Sears was open, I had a friend that, I mean, for years, man, he'd go to every freaking garage sale he could find and just buy whatever Craftsman tools that were kind of beat up. He'd go in there and exchange them, and they'd honor it.
Yeah, as long as it said Craftsman on it, they didn't care.
And I love the old Craftsman, but I hate that raised panel.
Yeah.
When you're cranking on that and it finally breaks, man, that just grabs your hand.
Oh, yeah.
The panel. Ugh. Yeah.
Well, I had some of the when my wife bought me the big, it was like a 250 piece set. Came with a plastic box, and everything had its spot. It came with the Comfort Fit ratchets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that were like the Snap-on ones that had the smooth. And I love those, but I've either let them sit out and rust or whatever. And we don't have any Sears, so I can't get any new ones.
Yeah.
And what stinks is I got one of the, what do they call those lever head ratchets?
Yeah.
Flex head.
The flex heads. Yeah.
Yeah, flex heads. And my 3/8 one broke this last week when I was working on the truck.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, the ratchet part, it's a no name, but the ratchet spun on it, so I love that thing. It worked
Is it
great.
a Craftsman?
No, it's
only a Craftsman. Oh.
it's I don't know what name's on it, but it was a good one. It was one of those grab boxes. It came out of one of those. I still got the 1/2-inch drive one.
I was going to say, I think it's Lowell's carries Craftsman now.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's not the same stuff, but if you do break that old Craftsman stuff, they do warranty it still.
Do they?
But you get the new cheap Chinese crap stuff.
And well, it's kind of funny because when Lowe's took over and Sears was going away, they took our local Sears stock of their Craftsman stuff, and it's no joke. It was all on clearance. They had like their biggest tool sets that were $600 ones marked down to like $80, and I bought them all.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, it was all the older Craftsman stuff that would, well, not older, but the stuff that they weren't going
Uh-huh.
to carry. And someone told me about it. I went in there and just bought a ton of it.
That's where I started, with my first real toolbox. The one you see in my videos. I picked that up with 2 of the Craftsman Master sets hand tools.
Yeah.
Sockets and 2 sets of their wrenches. One of them's 12-point, one of them 6-point box ends, But I picked that all up for like $1,500 for the box and everything.
That's not
It's
bad.
not bad. I got my big roll around toolbox at Home Depot on clearance. I think it was like $250 for the bottom and top.
Uh-huh.
And the guy's like, "Well, we can't find the keys for him." I was like, "I ain't worried about locking it." I get it home and I start putting tools in it, and the keys were taped to the back of one of the drawers. I'm like, cool, I got the keys.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. They just
But you
didn't
know what? I don't like my box. I don't like a tall box like that. My top drawer and then the top of it is just a collect all, because if I throw something up there, I can't see it unless I stand on something.
That's the nice thing about mine. Mine's about 5 foot tall, so I can still see over the top of it.
Yeah. I actually like my dad's setup. He's got 2 small roll arounds, and he puts all of his metric in one, all the standard in the other
next.
one, and it's just easy.
Yeah. What is it? What Wild Rose? I missed something. That just looks odd. 85 is plus or minus 85% ethanol and 15 fuel.
There, that one.
Yeah. In some cases too, like they do tests. Like I was talking to Ken from Tall Garage, and there's different groups that he talks to, and they'll test them, and sometimes it's as low as 57%.
Wow.
So the reason they do that is in colder climates, you want more gasoline versus the ethanol, so it'll actually fire.
Well, I was looking at some videos a while back about how to get the ethanol out of the fuel.
Is it like an enzyme type thing?
Well, no, they pour water in it, so the ethanol will suck up to the water, and then you have to like parcel out the fuel off the top of the water.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's kind of seems like, because they were taking like these big jugs and pouring the fuel in there, and then putting water in it, and then letting it sit for a day or so and letting it separate, and then draining the water off the bottom until, you start getting actual fuel out, and then they pump the fuel off the top.
Nhra made a good comment. As a BMX kid, we all put in for Craftsman. I did all the BMX racing. That shit was fun.
I bought Craftsman tools because I was broke. I couldn't afford Snap-on and stuff.
Snap-on, Matco, Cornwall, yeah, all of them.
I couldn't afford any of that stuff.
I bought a lot of Snap-on.
I'm going to Buck's shop.
Yeah. I still have the wrenches I bought from 1983.
I was 4.
Were you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought my first Snap-on set. It was a starter kit. It was $1,600 included the box.
So my buddy where I was wrenching at today, him and I have been friends for 25 years, and when he was in high school, he had built a shop at his parents' house, right? And he still uses it, and he's always done the side hustle working on stuff, and it has paid for his shop, all his hobbies, Snap-on, Matco. He's got just every tool known to man. And he does very well with the side work.
I get people coming by my house asking, do I do side work on cars? I'm like, nope, too much BS. I won't work on anybody else's stuff.
Repair work is hard.
Yeah.
When you
Well,
work
I
on somebody's daily, it just sucks.
well the thing is I've gotten into the thing where I worked on somebody's car and fixed it, done brakes or whatever, and they're like, well, now the sunroof's leaking because you worked on the brakes. No, I ain't
Exactly.
dealing with that.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
And you hear every sob story, and I don't know. I'm a nice guy. I believe it, and yeah, I've gotten took a lot of times.
Well, I got a couple people in the neighborhood. There's an old man who lives kind of kitty corner from me. If he asked me to do his brakes, I'd do his brakes for him, and I wouldn't charge him. Just say, you buy this
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
I'll do your brakes. And then Donald down the street, if he needs help, I'll come down there and wrench on his stuff if he needs it. But I mean, just random people walking down the street in my neighborhood, I
Yeah.
ain't gonna work on theirs because it's gonna be just too much BS.
See,
I
this
know it
guy's
is.
done it. He's done it right. Like he's got like just this huge rapport with friends, family, co-workers, farmers around the area where he does
Yeah,
like all the brake jobs, all the maintenance, the tune-ups, the belts, and like
yeah,
a couple of the farmers, he works on their stuff for him, but uses their tools, obviously a lot bigger stuff, and he goes there and man,
right.
it's been pretty good for him.
Yeah, you said working on bigger stuff. A guy I worked with up in Brownsville, he asked me if I'd come help him on a Saturday work on somebody's tractor. I've never worked on a tractor before.
Big
And he's
wrenches.
like, he's like, go get that 3 and 5/8 socket over there. We need it to take this off. I'm like, do what?
There was a farmer I helped for when his son was in college, and it was all the bitch work, the maintenance, the cleaning, hauling machinery here, just doing, and it's a lot of work. And I'm not big at all. And literally, like, we were changing out this chain is like 30 feet long in this combine, right? And there's like this lock, and there's
Oh
this
yeah.
nut, right? And there's this big nut that you want to take off. And I'm on this bar, like hanging from it, and it's not even budging. And I'm like, this is not good, If I can hang from it, it's not a good thing.
Oh, that sounds
Well,
like the crank nut on Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
How many brake tools you got now?
2. I got a Phillips and a flat tip. Yep. Yeah. Somebody said, "You've been a Klein." I was like, "Yeah, I've been a Klein square shaft screwdriver."
Yeah. Field
Anyone
delivery
ever use
service.
that, huh? I've never
There's a
heard
lot
of it.
of that around here just because of farmers and stuff like that. I mean, I see the FS trucks go
Yeah.
constantly, and I actually had a friend that was one of the drivers. A lot of like he did it part time after hours delivering and lucrative, but yeah.
Around here, it's just red diesel for the tractor, farmers and stuff.
Well, the wrench, you should have a lot of content then. All that stuff, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny you mentioned that combine, Jeff. Yeah. Boy, I was working on I think it was a New Holland, and it had a 318 in it. Those things are like 2 stories tall,
Yeah.
and the
Oh, yeah.
engine's up in top. What the heck kind of a cherry picker they got?
It makes you wonder. And like there's
Maybe.
I can't remember what dealership it is, but it's for combines and the big implements, and they have a shop, and you should see like the doors on it and how big this is. And they have like they have these lifts too. I mean, it doesn't get it real high off the ground,
Uh-huh.
obviously, but it's crazy. But like I remember when I helped this guy, just general maintenance, it was insane. And like he ended up getting everything. He farms like 3,000 acres plus, and he got all the GPS stuff put in there, right? So like we went out on a disc and see how accurate it was. Man, like once everything's plotted and you get all that in there, you could sit there and that thing just goes until, and then you turn it, but it's straight, man. It was
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done any farm work like
Oh, yeah,
I never
plenty.
did any of the planting and all that, but other stuff I did, it's boring.
Oh,
Oh, I-
tremendously. Yeah, how many times you fall asleep on a tractor?
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, in the summers when I go back to Missouri, my uncle had 400 acres. He farmed 200, and the other 200 were for cattle and stuff. Oh, he'd get me over there and get me up before dawn, and we'd be out there all day working.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of being I have big respect for farmers, but I have no want to be one.
I remember one time
24/7, 365.
it is. And I
Yep.
remember like I would help him. He'd be farming, and I'd have a truck with big flatbed full of the bags of beans and all that, And the way they were set up is basically one bag for one hopper. So he was an older guy, and he'd get done, and I'd drive, and he'd get to the end of the row, and you're filling those things up and all that, and you'd have a big metal spike, and you go run through all the bags, and you just burn them in the ditch, right? Man, I took a nap and my radio's going off, and he's like, "What the F are you doing? That ditch is on fire." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is just my luck."
When I was a kid, I was probably 11, 12. Uncle John had this big John Deere tractor. I'm
John,
not sure how big it was, but anyway, it was an open cab, and he's letting me drive it back. He's like, "Yeah, drive the tractor, it'll be fun." I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is great."
Yeah.
Well, he didn't tell me that tractors have two brakes on them.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And
this
we're
is
coming
really
up.
good.
We're coming up to make the turn onto the road there, and he said, "Well, hit the brakes and slow down." Well, I hit just one, about threw him off the fender.
I tell you what's scary though, this time of year, about a mile west of me is an interstate, not like whatever you call it, the big superhighways, but it's a interstate, and there's a lot of farm traffic on it this time of year, right? Like they're on the shoulder and they're crossing roads, and then there's guys that will take it and they're along the shoulder partway in the ditch, and they'll be mowing ditches along fields. A guy was in an open cab tractor mowing, and he was literally halfway on the shoulder and got smoked by a semi doing 70 mile an hour. And obviously, the result of that. And then yesterday,
Yeah.
about 2 miles from that, semi hit another one, a bigger one, and it hit an RV when it crossed and it was way worse. But it's like, man, you got to watch out for that.
I was watching a video today on Facebook. I was scrolling through and somebody posted it. But there's a truck broke down in the middle of the highway, and here comes this semi. It's like a traffic cam showing. He's got nobody on either side of him, and he just barrels into the back of this truck. I'm like, he had to be on his phone, not paying attention, because you can see the truck sitting there dead.
I mean, I drive a lot of rural roads, basically country roads when I go to my machinist almost all the whole way. And I found it hilarious because it's like the roads just aren't flat and straight. It's a little hilly and curvy.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be flying this time of year because you come up over a hill and there's a tractor, or whatever. And this guy in this Tesla is trying to pass me, right? And I'm like, I'm running 55, Technically it's supposed to be like 45, and I know the roads well. And, he'd go to pass me and come up a hill, he'd slow down. And then like we're going along, and here comes a tractor, so I slow down, and this guy's like riding my ass, right? I'm like, are you kidding me? So every time there was a flat area, he'd go to try to pass me, I would just hug the middle of the road. It's like, come on, man. I should just let him go, but
Yeah.
he obviously wasn't from that area, because going from there to here this time of year, you're going to count probably 15, 20, maybe 25 different types of farm implements out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Around
you know-
here, our road is at 55 speed limit. The joke around here is that's how fast you're supposed to be going,
Yeah.
but you're only doing about 35 because you got two tractors in front of you.
Yep.
Well, have you ever seen one of the I guess they're called spreaders, the ones that got the skinny tires, real tall?
Yeah.
I guess they're called spreader, and you can raise them and lower them. But I've looked at those, and I'm like, it'd be kind of interesting to ride underneath one of those with a motorcycle.
Some of those are pretty big. Like I think some of the ones around here, you could take small car underneath. And then we
Right.
got the bigger spreaders that have like the BareRose monster truck tires, but it's 2 in the back and the single in the front,
Yeah,
right?
trike.
Mhm.
And those things are real big. And it's kind of funny you say that because, you know, like where I live, it's like an S curve and there's like trees like right along the road. And one of those guys was crossing the highway and had the spreader arms down.
Oh no.
And as soon as he hit
Oh,
those curves, the trees are, it gets narrow. Bam, 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 just starts hitting them. It's like, whoops.
what's real interesting is when you get a new driver on them and they
Yes.
start wheel hopping,
Yep.
go way to the wheel and they'll start. And then once you slow down, it really starts hopping. Oh, yeah.
Well, I've seen that.
You see those trikes, that tip over on them all the
Yep.
time from that.
Yeah.
Monster
But
trucks
hey,
will do the same thing. You get over 45 with them, yeah, they start
See,
walking on you.
is it the way the tires start throwing off everything? How big the
Yeah,
tires are?
and they're not balanced, so
Yeah, I can see that you can't really balance something that large.
no.
Yeah, you need a 5-gallon bucket of weights.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Buck,
big
you're out in
guys
Pennsylvania,
don't
right?
balance them.
Yeah.
Do you guys get a lot of farm stuff out there?
Yeah, I live in farm area. Not as big of equipment as you guys got, but some of them have the 4 tractor tires on them.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I've been
get
up
out.
through there in a big truck, and yeah, there is some good farmland up there in Pennsylvania.
I used to go out to Pennsylvania every
Yeah,
year.
there's a lot of farmland, but they're starting to grow houses now instead of corn.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's our problem here too.
You know?
Town that
same
I
here.
work out of is 20 minutes away, and it's 150, 160,000 people, and it just keeps
Jeez.
expanding and expanding and expanding, and it's like, ooh,
Well, I've been saying that for years. Like New York City keeps moving closer to me. You know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because like Allentown and Stroudsburg, they're closer to New York City, and man, as if the population just exploded up there.
Well, people are trying to get out of New York City.
What's that?
I
I said people are trying to get
I used
out
to
of
go
New
to
York.
Carlisle every year.
Yeah, they
Well, it's the same
travel
thing with
from-
Illinois. I mean, if Illinois, for the most part, anything south of I-80 is, south of the suburbs, and
Mhm.
like you said earlier, yeah, you can never be too far away. I used to be in Chicago. I know that whole city like the back of my hand, Buck, and I would be there 2 or 3 times a week doing all kinds of stuff. When it was cheap to drive, I knew all the good restaurants that were off the beaten path. I would go up there. Man, everything's just crime ridden now. Like,
Yeah.
there's neighborhoods that I would go to that 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you wouldn't see a cop in sight and you wouldn't be worried about nothing. And now it's like my friends up there, like, we're getting the hell out of here,
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that because it was years ago when I was there, but I used to work with a guy in Beacons Moving and Storage. You should see that a lot out that way.
Yeah.
Green and white trucks.
Yeah, Beacons moved us from Washington State to Texas back in the late 70s. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, and their home base was there in it's a little suburb of Chicago. Can't think of the name of it, but we were always in and out of there.
Yeah.
And it was always cool, but man, I wouldn't want to go there now.
So, like when I would go up, I would take 55 up, obviously from where I'm at, and I'd hit the south side, Cermak, park it in Chinatown. And there was a big park because everything's really expensive to park. Well, you can get right off there, park in this big secure parking lot for dirt cheap, and hop the L. And if you knew the city and how the L system worked, you knew where you didn't want to go past, But the whole thing's just shit now. So it's like, nope, don't.
Yeah,
do it.
last time I was in Chicago was what, the mid 90s. When I was in boot camp, so we went down there and we had a couple weeks that we could go into Chicago and stuff, and got to see a few things. Didn't really go too far out of downtown
Yeah.
by the water, but I don't have any want to go back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours did the same thing, auto salvage. We bought at the perfect time just before it went kaboof.
I think you and I had this conversation, BareRose. I bought where I live in September of 2019, and I bought it from somebody having to move back to Indiana for their job, and I got way under market anyway, and then everything exploded in March.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like it's shut down, everything's going expensive. But yeah, it's like a house that recently sold by me. I couldn't believe the amount of money they got for it. Then another one popped up, and it's like even more, and you're like, holy shit.
Well, they did a news story about here in my town that there's some big property management companies out in California
Yeah.
that are coming in and buying people's houses here.
Ooh.
And well, what they're doing is they're offering people 20 to 25% over market value for their homes,
Yep.
so they can rent them out.
Yeah. So the small town that I live right outside of is
So
about
Mississippi is eastern Idaho now?
Yeah, I think so. They're doing the same thing up there.
Yep. Yeah, big time. Huge up here.
there's a the small town I live right outside of. It's about 3,000 people, and there's a lot of nicer neighborhoods that have popped up in the last 10 years. And of course, there's lots for sale all over the place. And some big real estate company came in way out of town and bought them all up, you know. And the people that live in these houses, they're concerned in that area that they're going to put up really expensive homes. It's just going to jack property taxes much higher than it already is. I mean, we're the second highest in the nation. Like, what we pay in property taxes, it's ridiculous. I've got friends that pay more in property taxes than they do in a mortgage payment a
Yeah.
month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Well, yeah.
hasn't hit here yet.
Well, I was
Knock
talking
on wood.
to my neighbors, and me and the elderly couple that lives kind of southeast of me here, and the old couple lives over here. We're the only three now that own houses in this close area. Everybody else is renters. Well, it's all the same rental company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been buying all the house. Once they come up for sale, the rental company comes in and buys them up. So it's all the same company that owns pretty much every house in this neighborhood that isn't owned by somebody.
That's pretty much the way Boise is. It's that whole city is pretty much owned by one person.
Yep.
One
Yeah.
company.
Right.
That's the way it's going here too.
And it's
rent's
all
just
rentals.
Yep, rent's going up too. I got a friend that lives in Dallas. He moved down there for work, and he actually found a pretty decent condo to rent. Right, him and his roommate, and it was a very reasonable price, and it came back up for lease, and it doubled.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Man, I can't afford this," you know. And it's like, where am I going to go? Everything's really expensive.
Right. Well, I know people that rented the house next door to me. Theirs is $1,800 a month, and my house note is only $670 a month.
Yeah.
We were lucky. We were able to get this on a short. We paid less for this than like a F-350 King Ranch.
Wow.
Costs more than my 2.5 acres with the shop and the house on it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, you can't
that
get
was
a nice.
then.
Right. Well, I mean, I've been here for 14 years, and I bought my house for less than what you get most big pickups for.
I bought mine. It was under market, but I bought mine for what they're selling for now in this area. It's about half.
Wow.
Yeah. So which is nice. I mean, I hit it right at the right time, you know.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was kind of pissed off because of the closing date was on my 40th birthday. So I spent my 40th birthday moving, you know. But it was nice, you know. I was glad to
Yeah.
move where I moved.
I bought mine just as the bubble cracked over and houses were just starting to go down, and we bought then, and then we lost I think we lost almost $20,000 in equity when that happened, and now we're up over 100 now.
Yeah. That's
So-
the scary part, though. Now you look at what it is now, and you think, oh wow, we only paid this, and you think, oh, your brain says, oh, we could sell it and go find something else. Yeah, then you go look at what else you can buy for that. No,
Right.
we're staying here.
See,
Yeah, that's what I told my wife. I said we should have sold a couple years ago.
I wanted to pull equity and add on to my garage, much, make my garage just massively big. But the price of lumber and everything else around here, like what I would want to do, it's just way too much money. So I'm just gonna wait it out. And the availability, like I have a friend of mine that bought a lot, 2-acre lot, right backside butts up this pond. It's a community out in the country, and they're on their 4th builder now because nobody's working. Like they can't get people to do it.
Wow.
And it's like, wait a minute. So like you are literally trying to, and it's the house they're wanting to build. It ain't cheap,
Yeah.
And they're on their 4th builder. They were supposed to break ground last year.
Here, they're just so swamped. That
Well,
we hit a big boom, and everybody's so busy that you look 2-3 years for a stick built.
So the
Just
ones
to
that
get
are
the foundation
the ones
broke.
that are busy around here are the ones working for the people that bought up all those lots. So it's just not building one. They've got 20 lots they're going to be building on in one neighborhood.
Right.
Trying to find somebody to do one. No one's doing that.
Wendy, to answer your question, I'm just south of Memphis, Tennessee. The state line for Mississippi and Memphis is 3.5 miles north of me. But talking about house prices, I was talking to my mom, and she's got, I think hers is 1,700 square foot. She's in Washington State with a garage on it, and her house is appraised at $500,000. And they're talking about moving to South Carolina, where my stepdad's from. And they can buy a house almost 3 times the size of what they have now for the same price.
Really?
Yeah. But so they're
What
figuring
part of
on,
Washington?
they're right across the river from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, Vancouver area?
Yeah, Vancouver, where I grew up, yeah. But yeah, they're planning on, buying like 1,000, maybe 1,500 square foot house, and maybe a little bit of land out there, an acre or 2.
I just want to buy the property behind me. It's like 5 acres, butts up to more fields, and partially wooded, partially field. It'd be perfect. Because I'm on 1.25 acres. It would be absolutely perfect.
Well, 20 years when we moved out in this area, there's a tract of land that's 150 acres that's just kind of behind us. And they were wanting $750 an acre 20 years ago. I was like, man, that's kind of expensive, because I was doing the math on it. And now the signs out there says $3,500 an acre.
3,500 here would be dirt cheap.
Yeah, but I'm just like, man, if I would have bought that.
Oh, I know.
Hindsight 2020.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh no. It's like, I was talking to my wife, and we were going to get into the, because they legalized marijuana and, well, not marijuana, but CBD here in Mississippi. We were talking about opening up a store, franchise store, and now they've done it to where it's like Colorado or Oklahoma, where they can actually have the dispensaries. And I was like, yep, that's a missed opportunity, because we should have went ahead and done it last year when we were talking about it. Because that's going to make millions of dollars.
I heard it's real hard to get into, though.
In Illinois, it is.
My wife is really good friends with the CBD guy down here for Hempville, and we were talking to them. They want 150,000 for startup, and I'm just kind of biting my nails on it. That's kind of a lot more than I want to invest in something. I don't know if it's gonna. But now that they've changed the laws, I mean, it's gonna be a moneymaker.
Well, in Illinois, when they did it, they do it by demographics. So it's percentage based on demographics. And if your area doesn't have the right mixture of demographics, then you're going to get denied a permit to do it. And they shit the bed on all that. I mean, come on, in the state of Illinois, when you legalize something like that and they lose money on it, well, I mean, just like everything else, it's like, oh, we estimate we're going to bring in $1 billion. So they spend the $1 billion. And then they bring in 500 million, and they just add 500 million to the debt. And you're like, ah,
Yeah.
screw that up.
I mean, it's like whenever they had the casinos, they said, "Oh, we're going to put all this money into education and stuff." Not really.
Yeah.
Then they voted in the Powerball and scratch tickets. Oh, that's all going to education and roads and stuff like that. No. You can still lose a small car in some of the potholes we have around here.
Yeah, same here. I think when it rains, I see people swimming in them.
Yeah, you can fish in some of them.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania promised to lower the property taxes when they put the casinos in, but none of that never happened.
Yeah, that was another thing with the Powerball. They were going to take away the income tax, and that didn't happen.
Well, when they legalized marijuana in the state of Illinois, a tax thing was expiring, so they had to lower it. So they went up. Our income tax went up, and what they ended up doing was, it's all going to go to deficit spending, and it didn't. They just spent it, added more to the debt. So when the bill was actually coming up to rescind it, they had an opportunity. They had to either lower it or vote it to keep it. They lowered it 0.05%. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Montana is beautiful. You know what? That's where my mom moved to when she moved here to the United States. She was in Billings, Montana.
And
If it didn't get so cold up there, I'd move up there because it's pretty country. It gets too damn cold for me up there.
my grandparents used to ranch out of Sheridan, Montana.
They lived on a huge ranch out in Billings, BareRose.
I drove through Montana.
And yes, it is cold up there.
Yeah.
Yes, it gets cold up there. I don't do well with the cold. I ain't got a lot of insulation.
I don't either. I'd survive. I live in Illinois, and it gets brutal in the wintertime, and don't like it.
Oh, the worst winter I ever spent was in Milwaukee.
So yeah, it'd be about the same
it
weather.
was so cold. It was so cold in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's about 3.5 hours north of me.
Yeah.
Straight up north.
Oh, you guys get the lake winds there
Yeah.
off the Great Lakes, just freeze you.
Well, where we lived was it was a little ways off the lake, so it wasn't so bad. But where I worked as a parking agent at the hospital. The hospital was right on the lake.
Yeah.
So you'd have to walk the parking structure once a day. You couldn't put enough clothes on.
Well, I tell you what's crazy. Every once in a while, years back, I'd go to either a Bears game or a Cubs game. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to Chicago or not, where Soldier Field's at, where the Bears play, is literally right on the lake. Mm-hmm. And the last time I was there was actually in 2019 in June for a Rolling Stones concert. And the weather was just right where the way that bowl is, and it was cold. I mean, it was damn near snowing. It was so cold. And that was in June. And then 3 days later, the weather's right. And I tell you what's crazy is I took my son up there. Actually, it was summer of 2019. And it was just a couple months after there. Maybe it was 2018. I don't know. But downtown, where it's kind of like South downtown, where it's kind of like, if you want to say, covered from all the real lake winds and all that, it was 70 degrees. It felt nice. and we go to the lake, and it was so windy and cold. It was like a 15-degree difference. But it's the same thing. Like Wrigley Field, it's not very close to the lake, but the winds and the cold off that. I mean, you can go to you'll see tickets, beginning of the year in April or early May, dirt cheap because nobody wants to go to a baseball game when it's cold.
Right.
That I don't know. Cost of a yard. It goes up and down here like you wouldn't
Yeah.
believe.
Here too.
And from
I
we got a place in Blackfoot just south of me, and a place in Otto Falls just north of me, and the price difference is night and day.
Around here, they have like a 3-yard minimum.
Yeah, on delivery.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's because they gotta pay for the truck and everything else.
Yeah.
I'd like to get, like where I got Copperhead parked, I'd like to get the whole backyard there just concreted in. And since the city thinks it's their land instead of mine, they won't let me do it.
See, around here, if you add any concrete, they tax you on it. It adds to your.
Well, see, I asked him about that. I said, well, if I put that in, what happens then? She's like, well, we can fine you monthly until you remove it. I was like, oh, well, then I won't be doing that.
Yeah. How you doing, Clint?
How's it going? It's good to see you guys.
You just been sitting here quietly.
Yep.
We've been rambling about the world's problems.
Well, I was just gonna sit here and let you guys solve them, so I don't have to think about it.
I think if
that's
we
not
solved
my
them, there'd be a
favorite.
lot of people in trouble.
Mandatory garages can only be used for cars. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Amen.
Mm.
Yeah.
And every car to have a manual choke and a stick shift.
Yeah. Can't get a driver's license.
You
Can't drive a stick.
destroy this generation.
Yeah.
No, I got a funny story about that. My mother-in-law, she's delivered pizza forever. She's always had manual cars,
Uh-huh.
and she was making delivery at a hotel one time. A guy came up, robbed her, and was going to carjack her. Well, he
Really?
couldn't drive the car. She did the smart thing. She gave him everything, and just walked away. But finally, after about 4 or 5 times of killing the car, he just jumped out and ran off.
I miss having stick shift. They're getting harder and harder to find.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Well, it's nice though when you're looking for a car to buy, you can get them for cheaper.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I can't sell this because nobody wants to buy it.
Yeah, it's true.
Hold on a second. My daughter's trying to kill herself. Hold on.
Oh, Lord. And you
Oh,
can
this
squeeze
stick
a
shift's so-
lot of mileage out of them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
repairs are so much simpler too. You don't have to
Yeah.
rebuild an automatic transmission.
Exactly. You just drop it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Clutch once in a while is not that big a price to pay.
No, not at all. Plus,
And
if
you
you got a
can still
hot
do it.
rod, you don't have to calculate all your torque converter shit. You can just
Oh, Lord.
Right? Just slip it.
drop the hammer where you want to.
Yeah.
How many guys do you know that get a torque converter close and just call it good because they don't want to pull it again?
All right, I'm back.
All of us. If you're not racing, everybody.
Yeah.
No, my daughter had her
Well,
little.
especially when
stool
you're
for
dealing
her-
with big block Ford stuff, BareRose. Everything's 900 pounds heavier.
Don't you just love Ford?
God.
I still say you can slide a Coke can down those intake runners.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
those intake runners are massive.
I was watching BareRose torquing the heads on that 460. Oh,
Him and I both were doing that, and man,
I'll tell you, I did. I checked the book 3 times. 145. No, that can't be. That
I know.
can't be. What book am I looking at? What section am I at? What the hell? What? Oh man.
Yeah.
140
I thought they
foot
were
pounds.
105.
140 foot-pounds, and you do it in a
Yeah.
sequence of 70, 95, 120, and then was it 140 somewhere? You know,
I
start off at
3-stepped
70.
it. I cheated.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have never had to change a Ford big block head gasket. The only time I've ever had to do that is because I'm doing head work or taking one apart like that.
Yeah.
They don't blow head gaskets. They can't.
There's
No, there's
too much
pressure.
weight.
Do those have 4 head bolts per cylinder or 5?
It's
There's
5.
10 of them.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah.
5, yeah.
You got 5 majorly long ones and then 5 somewhat short ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I studded mine, and that was just a ton of work just to crank on it. Finally we got smart because Jimmy's trying to hold the engine stand. I'm wrenching on this thing. I'm pulling him halfway across shop. So we just turned the engine. Then you're just using leverage. And you're like, what? We did one side about busted a nut and broke a back, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna get smart on this. They are very, very heavy duty engines. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
The one you're seeing there is take 2 because the first take I had it up against the toolbox. Oh, it was easy. I could torque them right in. Then I go and I look at the footage, and all you see is the back of my damn head.
Yeah. What are they?
Oh, crap. I got
They're
one more
5/8,
shot
right?
at this.
Aren't they 5/8?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're huge.
Wow.
Well, they're 9/16 bolt.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
putting a freaking telephone pole in there.
Can't
hey,
say
guess
I've
what?
never worked on one of those.
Oh man, they're a pain in the ass. I mean, they're just built like for a Sherman tank. Everything's super heavy on them. I mean, the crank I put in mine was an Eagle crank, and it was 82 pounds.
Gee.
You on it? Yeah.
And them 460s run so smooth too.
Yeah, it's because the heads. One head weighs almost 100 damn pounds.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was gonna say, if y'all got some extra ones, bring some down. I could use it for weight for the back of the truck.
I think what I read, I think 75 pounds a head, and I
Yeah,
think the
something
intake
like that.
manifold was like 100.
Ooh, goodness.
100
Yeah.
pounds for an intake manifold?
It was close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're heavy.
Oh,
And an
Lord.
FE is worse. An FE intake, yeah. Worst
they're
one
big.
I ever did was in a 56 Ford F100. The frickin' hoods on those trucks only open about that far. And I had to take, it had a 390 in it. And we took that intake out without taking the hood off.
Whew.
And they're like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
And with a hood that doesn't open, yeah.
Yeah. And awkward too.
Made me a fan of every Dodge. Or the hood comes all the way up. Oh, I love them things.
You know what's crazy is from the bottom of my oil pan to the top of those velocity stacks is 42 inches.
That was a tall engine.
It's freaking huge.
Yeah, that's how I asked if you put it in there yet. I'd like to see it sitting in there.
So what we're gonna do is, this is no joke. So I have it sitting on an engine cradle right now, right? And we used a crane from the ceiling, and we're gonna take that crane and we're gonna do this tomorrow. And I'm already just like, fuck this. And we're gonna put that. It's got a head on it. We're gonna put that on that run stand and get everything, the rest of it wired up. We'll fire it up this week or next weekend. But then I'm gonna take it to my buddy's shop where my car's at, and he's got one of those big, portable cranes, that slide this way and all that. And we're gonna use that and raise it up and then push the car underneath of it and then go down, because that is just a lot of weight, man.
Yeah, you don't want it in the air any longer than it needs to be, huh?
Exactly. And well, that was the whole thing is like when we were doing everything to put it on the cradle, I'm like, Jimmy, we got to just make this quick. Well, sure as shit, the cradle doesn't fit right. And this thing's just dangling there. And I'm like, no, like, what are we doing? And, finally we got it done. And, that hoist strap thing we used actually worked pretty damn well, knock on wood, but you
Yeah.
don't like seeing shit like that dangle.
No.
On
Oh.
nylon.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just watching them dollar signs just
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
use that too. Yeah.
Do you use the same one?
What's that?
You use nylon one?
Yeah. I use nylon straps too, ratchet straps usually.
That was my trick too.
That way I can adjust. I put them in different corners, basically run 2 or 3 of them, and then I can adjust the trail shaft if I need to, like cranking one of the straps. It helps me level it out too, real nice.
See, that's the other thing about Mopar.
That's
If you
what I
got
do.
something big, you can take the K-frame out, rebuild everything right there, and then just take the car down on it.
Yeah, that's convenient.
But yeah, I don't trust an engine hoist. The reason why is when I originally tried getting that thing on the cradle, Jimmy's got this massive engine hoist, and it was so heavy the thing was wanting to tip, and I'm like, nope. We're gonna do this a different way.
Yeah. I'm not too scared of my engine hoist, but I've never put an engine on a stand and felt really secure about it.
I haven't either. I've done it a million times, but it doesn't seem right that 4
3, 8, 16 bolts. Yeah.
are holding that thing on.
Especially
a
when
big
you're
block.
like doing your down torque like that. And
Yeah.
you're on the stand, yeah.
Yep. Well, I was sitting there and, like every time I go to the shop, we're adding something to the engine, right? And it's a nice stand, and that engine is sitting, kind of tilted up. And by the time it's done, it's like sagging down. I'm like, we got to get this son of a bitch off here. And they were ARP bolts that were in there because it was kind of funny because, off camera, I was helping Jimmy put a small block Chevy together, and he was just like, man, I'm missing 4 head bolts for this. And when we got this thing off there, it was like, hey, there's your head bolts. We put them in this engine. Yeah.
What size bolt are they? Because I know like big block and small block Mopar are 3/8 bolts for the bell housing.
Yeah.
Are they for the 460, like 1/2 inch?
No, I don't think they're 1/2 inch. Whatever a small block Chevy head bolt is.
I thought that was 7/16.
I was going to say 7/16 also.
I think they're 7/16.
Yeah, probably.
Does that sound right, BareRose?
I don't know. You got me thinking now.
I
got me second guessing.
I was just at the shop. And there was a whole freaking grade 8 kit sitting there of them. I don't know.
All the bell housings in mine are 5/8. A 5/8 socket, take it all the way out, and then the starter.
Yeah, well, that would be a 7/16 bolt.
Yeah.
With a 5/8 head, it'd be 7/16 bolt.
Yeah, then yeah.
That's a stout bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's 4 of them with a giant freaking clown engine sitting there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might want to rig up something underneath the front of it to hold the crank up.
Man, it was making me worried, I mean, it's like when we built this run stand, everything's adjustable. I mean, the way he built it, it's overkill, but I'm looking at it going, Jimmy, we might want to add some gussets here and there. And he's shaking his head at me. I'd come back and Jimmy, did you get those gussets doing? No. And then he got thinking and he's just like, hey, I got a plan. I'm like, what's that? He's like, I'm going to add gussets right here. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
See, that's what I'm worried about, putting a 440 on mine, because I just got that 3-wheel engine, engine stand.
Yeah,
I don't know if that 440. I don't know if that 440 will actually sit on that thing good.
I've got a 440 right now on a Harbor Freight. It's a short block on a Harbor Freight 4-wheel one, and it's fine.
See, that's what I need to get. I really need to get a 4-wheel one. So I
And
don't really like the
I've got
three-wheel.
another one where the legs fold down and out,
Mhm.
and
Four
that one's like,
legs?
yeah, but it like
Wide
but
foot?
the legs go out. Yeah, it's real wide and it's
They're
real sturdy.
awkward.
Yeah, they're very awkward to work with because you're constantly hitting your freaking top of your ankles on it when you're working on shit.
Yeah.
Try to get a cherry picker on it.
That's the other problem.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a funny story about that. When I pulled the 360 when I first built it, I pulled it out and I'm trying to get the engine on the engine stand. My friend Bob was here and he's like, "What are you doing?" So he pulled the backing plate off it and bolted it to the motor and then took the stand and lifted it up and just slid it on there. I was like,
Yep.
"That's the way you do that."
The last motor we had on that BareRose was Kyle's Pontiac, and didn't even think of it. And we went to use that cherry picker. It's like clang, and it's like you got
Clang.
to go at an
Yep.
angle, and then just
Mhm.
turn it, and then you're like stretching it, and you got two guys
And then it
standing on the back. Then it's like, whoosh.
Comes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ew.
Now
I
get
got
this-
one too. It's only for straight sixes. Because man, a V8, yeah, like even that big 460, when it's
Yeah.
on there, I can spin that around, no problem. I
Yes.
balance it right in there. But you put an inline six like an old stove bolt on there,
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
way out there.
that sucker will launch you when you go to flip them suckers over.
Yeah.
I don't know how Uncle Tony did it with that slant six,
Yeah. That,
because those are heavy on one side. You got to lift them up and then hold them there where somebody throws the pin in.
do you see Ken from Tall Garage's engine stand?
Yeah.
He's got one because him and his brother do semi stuff, and he's got a flathead V8 on a engine stand built for a semi engine.
Oh Lord. So it looks like a toy engine on it.
He sent me a picture. And he's like, "Hey, you think this is overkill?" I'm dying laughing. I'm like,
It's got a plate on it. Oh, good Lord. It's
Oh.
huge.
yeah,
Oh wow.
it's massive.
Well, I've got
One of
that
those big
400 of
four-
mine sitting on a 3-wheel cheap stand, and there's no way I'm reassembling it on that stand. I'm putting it on a little cart before I do
Yeah.
anything. That's just weighs too much.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, I bought engine stand or a cradle from Jegs, built for the 460, and I was actually happy with it. And I bought their wheel kit, right? And as soon as I set that down and rolled it, it snapped. The bearings are falling out, so I picked it up, took them cheap ass wheels off, set it back down, went and grabbed a bunch of 2x4s, made 2 layers, crossed them, put some good casters on it,
Yeah.
and man, those things are so heavy.
Strangely enough, what I use is those Harbor Freight furniture dollies.
Does it
Yeah.
work
Two
well
of the
for you?
little ones, and then I stick a piece of plywood over the, cut it just for the
Yeah.
deck, set it down there with the transmission, and I can push it all over in the shop.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what my the mock-up actually sits on.
See, I've done many
But
small
it takes
block.
2 of them.
I've done many small block Mopars where I've taken an engine and transmission, put it together, and put it in the car.
Mhm.
And
That's
not
what I
really
always
had
do.
any. Not, but I would never think about doing that with a big block Ford with a C6 and a 460. There is no effing way.
They're a little
Yeah,
stout. Yeah.
Well, I
A lot of
mean,
weight.
getting the 440 out of red, that was a little shaky on that engine hoist I have.
Oh, I bet.
Because what I did is I actually picked it up and pulled it out a little bit, and then I could run it in, run the mast in a little bit, and then picked it up again, so it was all kind of tight to it.
Yep.
I wonder what a
Good.
440 weighs.
A lot.
I've never looked that up. I
Oh,
know the
it's probably-
heaviest is the Hemi, the
Yeah.
iron Hemi. They're
Yeah.
the heaviest.
Right.
Does an
think-
iron Hemi weigh more than a 460?
Oh yeah,
It might,
they are heavy.
because I think an iron Hemi head is probably over 100 pounds.
Mm.
Hey Travis, I got a issue of Muscle Machines in Hemmings, and there's on the cover. There's a nice Dodge Dart, nice '69 Swinger. My dad had one just like that, same color, but it's copper. It's 344 speed car, but look at the emblem he had made for it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Copperhead.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I knew I had that sitting there for a reason because I was going to text that to you earlier, then I got sidetracked.
You got me curious now. What does a 440 weigh?
143 pounds, this guy says, dry weight. And then another one says 670. But
Jesus.
670?
Well, I noticed a very distinct weight difference between my cast and my forged crank, so that could affect it as well.
Well, I noticed because like the nose on old Red came up about an inch, having the small block in it over having the big block in it.
That blew me away with that 460 with the C6 in it. Actually weighs, it's only 35 pounds heavier than the old 272 Y block.
Oh.
Wow.
I thought for sure that, you know, that 460 and that C6 were going to set that Fairlane right down. It didn't even move.
Wow.
It went right back to ride height.
Yeah.
And my cherry picker, that's when I cued on, you know, when cued me on it. It grunted when I was picking up that Y block. I was like, what the hell? And then I picked up the 460 and did the same thing. A grunt. I'm like, something's up here.
See, that's like with my car. Everything, suspension, everything is brand new except the coil springs, right? And the only reason I didn't get new coil springs is nobody had them, and the only ones that were available were for the 390s. And everything I read, it was a different spring rate, and I knew I was going to go with a deeper pan at some point. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep these. Hopefully they're fine. We'll find out.
What was that? The RB block with aluminum heads, intake, and water pump housing weighs as much as an all iron small block?
Huh.
Makes sense.
I'd actually have to look up what the shipping weight of my engine was. I got the shipping receipt still when they shipped it to me. I can't remember how much it weighed though.
That would be a cool investment, a chain scale that would go up to like 1,000 pounds.
You can get
You
them.
just throw on your cherry picker.
Yeah, and find out.
You know, I had a chance to get a scale for like cattle, you know, and I had nowhere to put it, and I could have got it for free. And now I kind of regret getting rid of that, or not getting that. But I live about a mile from a grain scale that you can just drive up on, and you know the numbers will display. That's where I'm going to go weigh my car.
Yeah, I'd sure like to get a 4-corner weight.
Across me.
I'd love to get a 4-corner scale, but man, I don't want to spend the money on one.
I know that's what I want to get too, and they're expensive.
Even cheap ones are like $600-700.
I know.
Oh yeah, I would too. I'd be weighing everything.
I know. Then it would get your mind racing going. What am I going to do to transfer weight? What am I going to do this? What am I going to do? I mean, I've taken a lot of weight out of that T-Bird, but there's always room for improvement. And I ain't going to go drilling holes and shit, but you know.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you gotta get it where it transfer the weight to where you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to take weight off of certain areas.
Right.
You totally defeat your whole purpose.
Well, yeah, my friend D, he was always a big proponent of you want to move your weight when you launch just left of your rear license plate.
See that, yeah.
He always liked to. Yeah, he wanted it right there at the left side of the license plate. So,
Well, I know it took a lot of weight out just by changing to aluminum heads, aluminum water pump, aluminum intake, deleting the air conditioning that was on it, a bunch of other crap underneath the hood that was
yeah.
not needed. And I added it all up, and it's quite a bit of weight that came out of the front end of that car.
Jeff,
What was
I'm
the-
wondering, you running nitrous on yours too, right?
No,
Oh, okay, yours.
no,
All right.
keeping it naturally aspirated.
I think
How
the old
does
formula
nitrous
back.
do in a tunnel ram?
What's that?
Does it do all right in a tunnel ram? Nitrous?
But nitrous? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it in like supercharged. I haven't seen it much in a tunnel ram application.
I can tell you
Well, a
this
lot of-
much. I weighed all the air conditioning bullshit that I took out of it. It was 200 pounds.
Whew,
Oh yeah.
man,
And then you think those heads, a pair of heads is 150 pounds, right? And I weighed my aluminum ones and they were 32. So that's, almost 90
It's like
pounds lighter there.
yeah,
then that
that's like
intake-
only having one head on it.
That intake manifold is at least 100. And I know that tunnel ram, you can hold with one hand,
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's another 90 and there was a bunch of other stuff I took out and weighed. So really underneath the hood, all this stuff, all this whatever that they had that has been deleted because I'll never use it. We took out more weight today with some other shit, but I mean, almost 500 pounds.
That's
Curb weight on
significant.
that car, it's significant. Curb weight on that car was like 4,300. So I'm probably at the 38 range.
That's
The
pretty good.
control arms, I went with a fully adjustable tubular control arm, and believe it or not, they were lighter weight than the stamped steel big
Oh, yeah.
massive clunkers they had on there. The center section, the factory one that I had was just like a 2-man jobber, and I put in, can't think of the name of the brand, but it was, probably half the weight.
Nice.
What's your
Yeah, man.
target weight, Clint?
Right now, about 300 pounds. Well, the old formula we used to use at the speed shop was you would pick up 1/10 of a second and a quarter mile for every 100 pounds you dropped. So Jeff's
Just about, yeah.
made a half a second worth of weight loss right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm taking notes over here, and I think I'm gonna have to up the amount of spray on the truck.
Yeah.
And I don't weigh that much, Travis. I'm not a big guy.
I know.
So it's
But
I'm not
but if you're gonna be down around 38, I mean, we're only like 300-pound difference. So
Yeah.
I think I need another 200 shot of nitrous on it.
what gear ratio?
It'll be a 391.
I'm running 430s.
Right.
What size tire?
275, 60, 15.
28, 10, 5. Same as
28, yeah.
same as I'm gonna be running.
3,500 stall. TCI Super Street Fighter transmission.
See, I
All their
mean,
bells and whistles they do with it.
our builds are so close together.
Yeah. It's
They
going to
really
be
are.
one heck of a cool race.
It's gonna be, and it's it's gonna be fun. It's
I
gonna be a lot of fun.
that one and J-Ray's race that's gonna be pretty cool because that's LA versus Magnum.
Yep.
So that's
It
gonna
should
be
be
a
a
cool
lot of
race.
fun. 521 cubic inches. It's like 11.20 to 1 compression.
Right. So you're gonna be up around
Went
the
through those
350
heads pretty
range.
well. It's gonna. I mean, the torque on it's gonna be massive.
Yeah. That's the whole
Okay.
secret of the 385s. They're grunters and goers.
Oh man, yeah.
Because I think the
Yep,
way
it's
that's
gonna
gonna be is you're gonna get out on me and I'm gonna have to catch up.
Yep.
I got a
You're
feeling it's gonna be a bumper race. It really is.
I think it is. I mean, just you know, if you think you and I talked about this one night for well over an hour about it, and it's going to be if we both hook, you know, I don't. What are you going to run, drag radials or street tires?
I'm probably gonna be running drag radials because I got a new set of drag radials off somebody for really cheap. So
If mine ever come in, I'll be running drag radials.
You having trouble getting tires too, Jeff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
it's pretty bad out there on tires.
Yeah.
I did have a lot
Yeah,
of
that-
luck with Hoosier, but no one else.
Yeah, I don't want to get Hoosiers. I want sticky Mickeys.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Hoosiers
room-
aren't bad tires, but you got to heat them up a lot.
I could probably go with a 295. I think I have enough room underneath there, and I don't know. I mean, I could probably do it, but I'm just gonna stick on the safe side. I've already cut, weld, smashed, cursed enough. You know, it's like, you know, I'll just
Well, you know,
if I can't hook on a really well prep track on a 10.5 inch tire, then I need to rethink a few things.
yeah. Well, what I'm gonna do is I got that other rear end, that 8 3/4, and my truck has got 5 on 5.5 bolt pattern. Well, the 8 3/4 I got sitting here is a 5 on 4.5. So I'm gonna swap out my axle so I can run my drag light rims on it. Because I only got one set of rims for all red.
See, that was the whole thing. Is like I have those Cooper Cobras that I'm just gonna absolutely piss everybody off in the country with and just fry them. But the whole deal was I was gonna get another set of wheels and mount drag radials to it. And
Right.
now with everything, how expensive it is and unforeseen expenses on that, it's like, man, you know, just if I get these drag radials in, I'll just mount those. If I can't get them in, then I'll be running street tires. But the whole goal was to bring both because someone's going to call me out, and the whole thing is we're going to do a race on, and I'm going to on drag radials. I'll just absolutely shellac him, and he knows that. But do one on drag radials, and then do the next race on street tires, spin it, and have to drive out of it. You know.
Yeah.
So. You know what's
All right,
crazy is
folks.
like I bought recently because you know the steering gearbox BareRose, you know, that was actually a really good price. Try to find a pitman arm for a 67 or 68 Ford Thunderbird.
Damn near impossible.
Yes,
You might as well go ahead and make one.
Yeah.
pay over $200 for one.
Jeez.
What years do they fit?
67, 68.
So, yeah, I was going to say that's like a one-off year, or yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's no fun.
But you know everything's gonna be nice and fresh and new and tight, and hopefully keeps between the lines.
Oh, just a first-gen Camaro
Yeah.
pitman arm will scare the heck out of you now. That blew me away. We
You'd
got
figure
lucky.
that.
Yeah, you'd figure those are a dime a dozen, a million of them
Right.
out there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Chevrolet like to keep all their stuff the same. They were so standard on everything.
Uh-huh.
Yep. You know what's weird about that? A 68 to 72 GMA body frame is pretty much exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
But when we did the new body mount and bushings and all that on Kyle's GTO, there's nobody that offers that in polyurethane. They're still rubber, but for the Chevelles and everything else, you can get them in poly, and they're not the same mount. But all the holes are
Really?
pretty much the same spot, but they're not the same mount.
Well, that's
That's
strange.
weird.
It is
I
very
figured they were the same car.
because we
Pretty
called
much.
all over we called all over the place, and everyone was like, it's not the same, don't order it. And so we didn't. And when our buddy Eddie Chevelle was sitting up there, we got looking, and they're not the same mount. Like location wise, yes, but it's an absolutely different mount. And when you have a GTO and a Chevelle, you can see absolutely, and you start looking at body lines, and of course, you get a tape measure out, and you're measuring, and you're doing this, and you're like, I'm retarded. Why am I doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning? I should be in bed. But there is so many. If you just take away the front nose of those cars and you start looking, it is the same body. They're just stamped curves, lines different. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. That's really strange. Those body mounts are different because, yeah, I thought they were all the same too across the
Yep,
platforms.
GTO is different.
Hmm.
And a lot of manufacturers be like, yeah, they fit. Don't worry about it. No, they were all like, no, don't do it. BareRose walks around with icicles hanging off his earlobes.
Only 8 months out of the year.
And then a week or two in summer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna jump off here and crash.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
yeah. And take care,
Me too, I'm
Tom.
gonna
I
go
mean,
too.
Hope you
It's
feel
11
well,
Okay,
o'clock.
Travis.
about you, man.
All right, guys, I'll holler at you later.
See ya.
Great seeing you, man.
Oh
See you
yeah,
guys later. See you, Clint.
I'll
See you,
probably be
Travis.
calling you sometime next week, cussing Fords.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
fine.
Good
yeah,
night, Travis.
All
love
right,
you,
later,
man.
guys.
See ya.
All right, now it's my turn. You guys have
All
a
right.
good night.
You
It's
too,
already
So you're
Clint.
midnight
taking off
here.
too.
Great seeing you, Buck.
I'm starting to nod out.
I'm
Good night.
wiped. See ya.
Actually, I'll probably wrap it up too. It's getting a little late here.
Yep, I gotta go inside and talk to the daughter and all that. She's just run through here like a crazy teenager that she is.
Yeah.
She wants
Well,
to see that big old chunk of fiberglass behind you there move.
That
I
big old
know.
chunk of fiberglass changed my life. I
Oh,
love
that.
Cordovas, and I had no idea they made a funny car out of it. So I'm obsessed with that build now.
There's like 4, but we know of 4 or 6.
Really?
This one was Mr. Norm's Kenny Safford driven one, and TV Tommy Ivo had one.
Damn.
Mike Senior 340, I think his name is, sent me pictures of one that was like a Paps car,
No kidding.
and yeah, it's so cool. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
It is super cool. I'm really looking forward to you working on that thing.
I can't wait. It's gonna be a winter project, and it is rough, but you know what? You can't just say screw it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's a
super
legend.
cool.
I know, and I knew Norm very well for many, 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 many years, and I never got to meet Kenny, because he had passed away, and whatever, but all that stuff. But man, like out of all the funny
Right
cars
on.
that he had, my favorite was the '68 Charger, the mini Charger. Like it was a really cool paint job. I liked that one, and then it was this one. Everything in between I really liked, but man, this one just looked so slick. It's so low to the ground. It just had a mean look to it, And it had the
Yeah.
Chicago skyline painted in the background, and
Oh, really?
yeah, it was neat.
That
And
is
it's a
cool.
Cordova.
I know.
Damn
Who
cool
doesn't
car.
love the old floppers, though? I mean, they were all pretty cool when you really look at them.
Yeah, they're so neat. And I used to have just so many original photos of the builds of some of these cars. And like the '67 Charger funny car that he built, it was like the first year for like the flip tops. I know Ford came out with one, but like when people really started building them, that '67 Charger that Norm had, you look how rudimentary it was. Like the doors
Yeah.
still opened. Yes, the engine was moved back, but like it was like square tubing. It wasn't really a funny car chassis. It still had like coilovers in the rear, and they had like a weight bar. It was just a nightmare.
I'm kidding.
And then like what was that guy's name? Wasn't Romeo Palomides in '68. It might have been, but there was another chassis company that in Chicago, they got real big real quick, and they just changed the whole ball game when they instead of because like that '67, it had like a frame like a car,
Was it
and
fiberglass?
the body part of the body was, but not all of it.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
when they took the cars and started narrowing them down, making them shorter, and then altering there was altered AFX cars, but altering the wheelbase on the funny cars and making them the chassis narrow,
Yeah.
putting people in the center, it changed everything. It was Romeo Palomides and what was the other chassis company's name?
No,
I
you
can't
got
think of it
me.
off the top of my head. I'm wiped out, but yeah, but yeah, there were some slick chassis, and I got to see quite a few of them at different stages of the restoration of other cars. And a friend of mine's got a Don Schumacher car that's kind of rough, but when you start looking at it and you're like, here's how they adjust things for different tracks,
Oh
and
yeah.
different conditions, and really cool shit.
Oh, I bet. It's like automotive archaeology, right?
Yeah.
I got to work on a 38 Cord once, and I was pretty blown away. Actually, we did a full resto on it. I was pretty blown away. And
Wow.
technology on that car was like industry first, but that we still use today. Like
Yeah,
some of the stuff in the braking system and some of the
yeah.
stuff in the gearbox. It was amazing.
It's funny
That
when
was
you look
the
at some of the
first
old world.
American front, wasn't it?
It was a front wheel drive with an automatic. It was the first automatic. It was a manual that was shifted automatically.
Yeah.
If you
And
look
front
at
wheel
some of
drive.
the old, pictures of car or airplanes and from World War II and all that with disc brakes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like, holy cow,
Well, that's kind of like what the LS now. In the 80s, that was all race car technology, and now it's just the way Chevy LSs are built.
Look at the Coyote motor, the
Coyote
way their
motor too.
intake
Yeah.
runners are. That looks like, some of the road race stuff, the way they're, the
Yeah.
intakes like this. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
It's very cool stuff. And like I'm actually a Mopar guy, but like I absolutely love the Coyote motor and that new Godzilla motor. That Godzilla motor is just inherently built for racing. It's set
Right.
up,
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Australian channels, and those guys are building those things just to the moon, and they take it.
Yeah. It's a great time to be a car guy with a bunch of money.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff out there in the
Well,
in
it's
the high
funny
end.
if you ever watch any Australian stuff, and a guy I talk to a lot, Auto Carnage, and this guy is always sending me pictures of cool shit, and I'm like, I want that, and he's like, no, you guys got all the cool stuff over there. I'm like, we do, but you guys got some really cool shit. You
Oh
have that
yeah.
265 Hemi 6 Valiant Charger that is so damn cool, and then
Yeah,
he
it is.
sends me this like, it's like a Ford El Camino looking thing, and it's got like this 302 4-speed in it. He got it for like nothing, and I'm going, and they're rust free, but this one was beat up. But I'm like, that's right there's perfect. He's like, oh no, but you guys got this, and it's like, but you have this,
Yeah. Yeah. You
and
always want what you have, right?
yeah, him and I have been talking, and the Barra engines over there, are so cool. Yeah, it's just like I keep on telling them if I can ever afford it and they open up different things over there to ship, find me a
Yeah.
265 Hemi because you can still buy all the crazy Clifford Performance stuff. So,
Wow. That would be sweet.
so he's asking if I had any issues for those M&H Race Masters. I didn't, but I bought them prior to all this crap going on.
Mm.
And I
I
don't
think
think yeah.
no, I just to say the biggest issue I had when I was looking for tires, because I had to get DOT, but real street tires. Mickey Thompson got bought, like Goodyear bought. I think it was Goodyear bought Cooper Tire, and Cooper Tire owns Mickey Thompson. So Mickey Thompson supposedly isn't going to be manufacturing any tires for it till next year. And so I didn't bother back ordering anything, and I went to Hoosier, and they're still making tires as far as the pro street stuff goes, but it's slow. And yeah, they went up $100 in the two. They went up to $100 each just in the 2 months it took me to find them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, tires are no fun right now.
Mickey Thompson used to make back in the 60s a tire. It was a wrinkle wall tire, and it was a slick, and they were narrow, right? For like earlier Mustangs, A-body darts, all that. They were a really popular tire. 8.5,
Okay.
8.5 by 9.5, or whatever, like the width range on it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's reproduced now with the M&H. But Mickey Thompson made them. They were called the Challenger Series
Oh, okay.
wrinkle wall.
Yeah.
And they all the exact same tire because they made them for him was J.C. Penney's AFX.
No way.
Everything on it's the same. The only reason I know that is I was looking for a pair of NOS drag slicks, right? Because I had found a pair of Astrostar Supreme tires, like the 775 skinnies, like they would have ran back then. And they
Yeah.
were so cool because they were, that tall black wall, and they had a thin white stripe and a thick red stripe, and they were NOS.
Oh,
And
cool.
I'm like, oh, I got to find a set of cool drag radials. And luckily, not radials, but slicks. And I found a guy here locally because we had a big J.C. Penney service center, and he still had a pair that were NOS, and they were that perfect size and 14-inch. So I bought them. You couldn't use them, you wouldn't
Right.
want to. And they're now they were mounted on a small bolt set of Kragers from back in the day that were super clean. And a friend of mine's got a 440 M-Code Dart that came out of Grand Spalding that was rust free, but it would just look like it'd been sitting, really scrungy somewhere. And he spent the better part of like 3 years cleaning it, getting it all. And it's that copper color, white interior, white
Oh,
vinyl top.
nice.
And it's got all the day 2 parts still on it. And he's like, dude, I need to find a set of these tires. And I'm like, I got them. I said, wait a minute. He's like, you have a pair. He's like, the guy talked about buying a set at J.C. Penney. I'm like, no, I have them. Right. And I
Oh,
even
no
got a
kidding.
set of skinnies in the front.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he said, well, they're the same as the Mickey Thompson. And he showed me. Hi, Rick. How you doing? And so I sold them to him under the condition of don't trash them. And he's
Yeah.
not, because it's such a rare car, and it's like a Survivor. It's beautiful. I mean, it's
Wow.
rough-ish. It's got the
Yeah.
patina, the right amount of patina. Yeah, Mickey Thompson made them for him.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
All that kind of stuff always trips me out.
yeah, it's really cool.
That is cool. Before you get too far, I think I should say thanks. A few people said they subscribed to me tonight. So thanks, guys, to all you who
Excellent.
did that. Appreciate it. And I'll
Totally
hit you back.
cool.
Yeah.
Definitely hit you
Definitely.
back.
But with that, I am going to go inside and talk to my daughter and see why she's running around like a crazy teenage girl that she is. So everybody out there, have a good night. BareRose, thanks for hosting this. Clint,
Great
meeting
seeing
you.
you as always, man.
You too. Take care of yourself, Jeff.
And I'll be posting some cool content here soon.
Sweet.
Looking forward to it, man.
Later, man.
Keep that metal hot.
Yes.
Are you getting ready to wrap it up then, BareRose?
Yeah, I think I better wrap it up. Hey, Clint,
And I'll say my
thanks
goodbye.
so much for coming in, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. This was fun. Like I said,
Yeah.
first time ever doing this, and I didn't look too bad, I guess.
No. Like I said, I'll cover for you. I'll make an absolute fool of myself just to cover everybody.
Appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Okay, I want to go ahead and get out of here then. Thanks again.
All right.
Everybody, take
Hey.
care and good night.
Keep the metal hot. All right. And hey, thanks everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out on this here Saturday night. I'm sorry if I missed some of you in there. This chat thing kind of goes kind of quick. Sometimes I miss some of you. But Wild Rose, Wendy, Rich, 220 Automotive Restoration, thanks all of you guys. Mopar Man 78, you got awesome stuff coming up there, man. Go check everybody out in the chat, and if you see somebody having sub, man, jump up there and hit their little button. You'll be surprised how much good stuff is coming out, and especially hubby down there. That Gasser legend that he's putting together is just fantastic. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed the weekend and or what's left of it. In the meantime, get out there and get some metal hot. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for coming.